to George Baldock. And our thoughts go out to Sam and James and his family and friends and teammates. Play 2, 1-2. So far so good, but tougher tests lie ahead. And victory tonight will be the most significant yet, both in terms of Nations League promotion and Lee Carsley's job prospects. England going into it without a recognised striker. This will be interesting. England kicking from left to right, from the old tunnel end of the ground, in all white, and they get us underway. The ball immediately laid back for Levi Colwill, forward from him to Palmer, who takes a touch, rolls it back for Colwill, and now finds John Stones, whose first touch as an England captain is actually slightly a false one. He controlled it with his right foot and just rolled away past his left, but England able to bring the ball forward. Rice finding Stones, Saka on the right, England lining up as we anticipated, Bellingham playing along with Foden almost as inside forwards in what effectively is almost a 4-2-4-0 formation. Very well won back by Anthony Gordon on the England left. Colwill will work it forward towards Palmer, and I'm delighted to say, alongside me, the former England captain, Stuart Pearce.
Evening, Jim. Yep, looking forward to this new episode and trial period, if you like, for Lee Carsley. We thought both performances we grew from the first one to the second one last month. This time out, we'll be expecting that little bit more. No recognised centre forward in the lineup, but the rotation will be vitally important from the likes of Bellingham, Palmer, and you can see that straight away.
Already a Nations League goal of some significance elsewhere. Italy, who are doing very well in their group with Belgium, Israel and France, lead the Belgians with Cambiasso scoring inside 2 minutes. And that would, as things stand, have Italy 5 points clear at the top of their group. These two sides, England and Greece, locked together. Greece just ahead with a very slightly superior goal difference after both played against Ireland and Finland. And England next in action away in Helsinki in what is a 5 o'clock kickoff on Sunday here on Talksport. The ball is with the blonde-haired Anthony Gordon over on the far touchline, controlling it, working it back. Gordon used to playing in this particular formation under Lee Carsley, but he was one of the false nines in the side that won the European Championship, often alongside Morgan Gibbs-White. Rico Lewis able to bring the ball forward here for England. Greece have had plenty of defending to do in these early stages. Gordon's got it now, working across the edge of the area, and Palmer, trying his luck, has just sliced it high up in the air. It was a complete miskick from him. Bellingham is able to rescue the situation on the edge of the box and fires in a right-footed effort. The Vlachodimos beats away and out for an early England corner.
Yeah, in these early minutes, England have not tried to venture forward. By the time they've got the forward on that occasion, they've looked really, really threatening, and a great effort after the Palmer miss hit fell to Bellingham, and he tested the goalkeeper.
23 goals he got for Real Madrid last season. He's yet to score in 8 games for Real Madrid this season. They got the winner against Serbia and that late equaliser against Slovakia in the Euros. Now, just before this corner can be taken on the England right, the referee having a word with a couple of the players inside the penalty area. It's Colwill that he was speaking to, and he's happy now. And belatedly the corner comes in from Saka, a left-footed in-swinger, which is headed away towards the edge of the penalty area. Lewis is in there. It should be easily cleared. Ball play back for Mavropanos, who will find his goalkeeper, and Vlachodimos can just side-foot it to the right-hand side of the penalty area. Mavropanos under pressure, England pressing with a real intensity, and now Foden will go after Kouliarakis, and Giannoulis loses out in the left-back position, and England will want it back. That was a really good high press. Rice knocking forward here for Bellingham. Was he caught on the edge of the box? Referee says no. Play goes on, and Greece are able to bring it away with Solis, working it out towards the right flank. And this is where England have got to get the bodies back behind the ball quickly, because it's Pavlidis, right-footed effort from the edge of the area, and he's wide of the diving Pickford. Some start real opening 4 minutes at 0-0.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit cagey to start with England, and then obviously they tested the goalkeeper and the counter-attack there from the Greeks. delivered a sort of a warning shot, if you like, across the bows of England, as we've seen on a couple of occasions. Certainly in the game against Ireland it was prevalent. England have got to be careful they don't overcommit and leave the door open.
Ganis Pavlidis, who was that had the effort, who joined Benfica in the summer after scoring more than 30 goals last season in Dutch football for AZ. He's got an international goal for a couple of years, and he thought that he should have worked Jordan Pickford there. England have given it away, trying to play out from the back with Masouras, the Greek right winger, picking it up. He's gone back for Courbelis. Now to Mavropanos. Mavropanos back to the goalkeeper. Here comes the press again. Vlachodimos doesn't really want it in defeat. He hurriedly got it away. Colwell steps up from the defensive line. Flick round the corner by Bellingham. And then Kulyarakis will get it forward towards halfway, where Solis, the former Norwich winger, can bring it under control. But this is a press and some from England. We haven't seen this uniformity in the press, this intensity in it, in any game I can remember watching England for years.
Yeah, and that's come from Gordon. He is the main protagonist in this. He's the one that set sail and dragged his teammates up behind him to get after the ball. And I'd like to see England do a little bit more of that. For too often we've seen teams dictate the tempo of the game by us not pressing them, and we're off again here. Bellingham leading the charge.
Early goal for France away to Israel tonight. Eduardo Camavinga. With that, Italy leading Belgium 1-0 in the other game in that group. It was a really poor challenge coming in. It was a genuine attempt to win the ball from Kulyarakis, and he genuinely got there about 2 seconds too late. He's got a yellow card, and it's a free kick which England will take about 6 or 7 yards outside the penalty area, right of centre. Yeah, it was a poor challenge, just too late. Bellingham just too good for him, too quick for him basically, and a really good opportunity. Trent Alexander's close on the ball, Gordon's over there, Palmer's in and around it, and I would fully expect it to be an effort at goal from here. One thing I would say, Jim, as well, the fact that we haven't got a naturalised centre forward, we're going to have to play it through the thirds and break teams down. The opposition, on the other end, have got no threat in behind unless it comes from the wide areas, so they can lock up and condense play that little bit more often, and we've got to make sure that we're still trying to stretch play, whether it be from the wide players or alternatively from one of the midfield number 10s. Vlachodimos has lined up a 4-man wall, and England have two standing over the free kick. Cole Palmer might be the favourite here to bend this left-footed over the top of that Greek quartet. He's running up, he hits it now towards the top right-hand corner. It's gone just over. Vlachodimos is very grateful, because I'm not convinced he quite had that covered, with a high, swerving left-footed effort from Palmer that just beats the goal.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Jim. He's certainly done really well. The bend on the ball was perfect. He just couldn't get it up and down quickly enough. And I think the goalkeeper would have been beaten all ends down if it was on target.
One of the other League B groups, Norway, leading Slovenia by a goal to nil. Erling Haaland has got it. As Greece bring the ball forward here. Pavlidis running inside the penalty area, trying to get it across. Lewis can knock it away before it falls to Masouras. It's, I suppose, a byproduct of the way that England play with the ball, that they will leave themselves prone to counter-attacks. They need pacey defenders to be able to get back and get themselves in the right position in time, as Lewis did there. The ball goes back out towards Masouras on the Greek right-hand side. A quick layoff from Bakasetas, the captain, back to him. And he goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on that far touchline, which is the Greek right. Rota will make his way forward to take it. And it may well be Masouras, actually, that will just retrieve the ball for him. Rota takes the throw, goes back for Mavropanos, the West Ham man, in his 30th cap for the Greeks tonight. Long ball out towards Giannoulis. Faced up by Saka, he's played it back for Kulyarakis. He'll take a couple of touches, Foden putting the pressure on, then when he goes to Mavropanos, Bellingham hares after him. Ball quickly played to the right back, Rota, and Gordon chased there. Greece will be able to play out and get it forward through the midfield. But we made a lot in the build-up about the role of Jude Bellingham and, to a lesser extent, Phil Foden playing off him tonight. We didn't talk so much about Cole Palmer sitting deeper than probably just about ever seen him play in club football, as Greece again look long for Pavlidis, and Pickford comes out of his penalty area, and then he's skidded away and he's out of his goal, and it's cleared off the line quite magnificently by the retreating Colwell. And Pickford goes across and embraces the defender. He raises both hands above his head by way of apology. And he raced outside the penalty area there, Pickford. So far so good as sweeper keeper. But then he wanted an eternity to get rid of the ball. And under pressure he scuffed it to the nearest Greek player. Chipped back over him. Claims from the Greeks that the ball had gone in over the line. Certainly the goal line technology suggested it didn't. It was a very, very close run thing. And Colwell just hooking it away. We're seeing an angle now. Some of the ball was over the line. He's got there in the nick of time. Very nearly 1-0 Greece. In comes the corner. Swung towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Mavropanos going up for it. Headed back in by Masouras. It's in this time. But now the flag comes up. And it remains 0-0. Ball headed on. When Masouras, I think, in an offside position as he tried to turn it over the line. Might have been Mavropanos that got the last touch, actually. But the flag is up. And it remains 0-0. But that is a pretty hairy 30 seconds for England.
Well, more importantly, a hairy 30 seconds for the goalkeeper. He's give the ball away. You could tell him taking an absolute eternity on it, was always going to get caught out. And then when the ball's come in, he's flapped at the first cross, he's flapped at the second cross. And well, he's got all his lives in one go there, I think, Jim, you know.
Well, the replay shows that the flag up against Mavropanos was correct. He was probably a yard off. And so it's still 0-0. And Jordan Pickford's heart will be beating pretty quickly after that. And Foden with a little layout through the midfield. Siopsis, the Cardiff City midfielder, able to pick the ball up, and then as it's driven by Masouras, he hits Solis with it. One winger hitting the other in the centre of midfield. England work it back for Pickford. Wasted no time getting it forward that time. And then Foden leaves a foot out as Greeks try and bring it forward quickly, and that'll be a free kick after the foul on Solis over on the right-hand side of midfield. That hasn't been a great couple of minutes as far as England are concerned, giving a free kick away. In fact, it's Kourbelis, the player that was caught. And a free kick that'll be taken by Greece about 20 yards outside the England penalty area.
We've had a lot of excitement over this period at both ends of the pitch, and as soon as Pickford picked it up and then delayed for that couple of seconds, you knew that he was going to get caught on it. And got to be very careful, nearly giving a very, very cheap goal away.
So a free kick to Greece here on Talksport, 0-0. England have had a couple of sights of goal, but Greece have come inches away from taking the lead after Jordan Pickford's error.
I think Gordon's had a smack on the nose, actually. He went down on his haunches and he's just come over to this near touchline, Jim, here, just to get a treatment on his chin or his nose, I don't know, one of which.
So he's going to be patched up. In comes the free kick for Greece, straight into the hands of Jordan Pickford via a very appetising bounce for the goalkeeper, and now he can just normalise his heart rate, I would imagine, with the ball in his hands, and just calm down and wait as long as he thinks he can get away with, whilst Anthony Gordon changes his shirt. A little bit of blood on the original one. Pickford will play out towards John Stones, and back for Pickford, and he leans back and just chips it away down towards Saka on the right hand side, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold puts his foot through it. Long right-footed clearance, giving Bellingham something to chase, but that is headed all the way back for Odysseus Vlachodimos. You're listening to coverage of England against Greece in the UEFA Nations League on Talksport with Carling. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly. Here's Mavropanos now. Played forward by him towards Kourbelis. Now towards Rota. And the dark-haired defender just takes a touch, comes back inside, and lays it back for Mavropanos again. Giannoulis will make a run forward from left back, started just inside his own half. England playing with an ultra-high defensive line there on halfway. But there's a reluctance from Greece at the moment to try and play a ball over the top of it for the runs maybe of Solis or Giannoulis. Now it is played in towards Solis, knocked away though easily by Alexander-Arnold. Brought down in the midfield by Palmer. Palmer can get it forward. Bellingham with time to take the ball on the half turn, work it to his left-hand side, out towards Anthony Gordon. Gordon getting around the challenge of Masouras, goes back for Cole Palmer again. Early dynamic run from Alexander-Arnold, a little bit too early. Palmer, I think, just got caught on the back of the heel. The play goes on. He gets it back here from Saka. Lays it off towards Stones. England, even when they have the ball with the centre-halves, 10 to 15 yards inside Greek territory. Ball work forward here towards Gordon. He's been fine. His legs taken away from him. It's a free kick to England, but not quite within range.
I've just been looking at Palmer there. His receiving skills are brilliant. He's so aware of what's around him. He just moves that ball. He waits for contact from the Greek players and just moves it brilliantly.
Saka crossing it inside the penalty area, but behind Gordon, and Rota will be able to bring it down. He has played in this role for Lee Carsley before. In one of the games in the Under-21 European Championships, England in the third group game in that tournament made a lot of changes. Palmer played in central midfield in a 4-2-3-1, so it's not completely alien to him, the way that Carsley will want him to operate, and he's been given plenty of licence to push forward and to roam around in support of Bellingham and Foden ahead of him. Meanwhile, Saka's gone down on this near touchline, but it is going to be a free kick that Greece will take. It's been a very intriguing opening 15 minutes, Stuart Pearce, at 0-0 here on Talksport.
There's been plenty to get your teeth into, it's fair to say, at both ends of the pitch, and more so, you would say, in and around England's goalmouth, to be quite honest with you. And we've probably brought a few problems to bear by ourselves rather than the Greeks.
Now Giannoulis will make his way forward again from left back, and he will often run past Zolis ahead of him. Two players who played their club football together at Norwich and with a really good understanding. That time the ball went out of play for a throw. England have taken it. Alexander-Arnold just drops one over the top of the Greek back line here for Jude Bellingham. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Almost an unfeasible angle to try and beat Vlachodimos. He went for it, fires it way over the bar. And out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by the Greeks away to our right-hand side. 16 in, 0-0. And a reminder that England next in action Sunday tea time, 5 o'clock kick-off English time, 7 o'clock out in Finland. And we'll bring you that game live from the Olympia Stadion in Helsinki next Sunday. More live action between now and then, though, because on Saturday you can tune into TalkSport's live watch-along as Artur Baturbiev and Dimitri Bivol face off for the undisputed light heavyweight crown in Saudi Arabia. Anna Catterall joined by Adam Smith in the studio, Spencer Oliver and Gareth A. Davis, keeping you right up to date with live updates from Riyadh. So don't miss any of the action with our Baturbiev Bivol live watch-along Saturday from 8 on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel and the TalkSport network. Heavyweight clash here at Wembley tonight. Well, maybe light heavyweight as far as the Greeks are concerned. Rated 48 in the world in the ELO ratings, which we often talk about as being probably slightly more accurate. They're actually 24, so that's a much more accurate representation of how good they are. Really good defensive record. 271 minutes since they last conceded a goal. The ball is John Stones at the heart of the defence. Back he goes for Jordan Pickford. Pickford, who had that very nervy moment that he just about got away with it, and it was only just about playing it out towards Colwell here, and back for Pickford, and they'll build once more from the back with Stones.
I think what will be key, having watched this first 17 minutes or so in this game, is if we get our press aggressively, Jim, I think it will bear fruit. I really do. If we don't, I think that they'll pick us off and play long balls in behind, which could cause us a problem.
Well, in the early stages, the press was very impressive from England. Has just dropped off a little bit since then. As Greece bring the ball forward down the right-hand touchline with Rota, the full-back, and he's done well to get it forward towards Masouras, who wins a throw. It's the first League B campaign that either of these two countries have had. England relegated into League B, Greece promoted into it. The Greeks have come into this having lost only one of their last 14 Nations League games. England's record in this tournament has been pretty average. After a winning start with the 2-0 successes in both Ireland and at home to Finland. Greece beating Finland 3-0 and also winning 2-0 at the Aviva. That's why Greece are top of the group coming into tonight. And if you finish top, you get promoted. If you finish second, you go into a playoff. Finish third, you go into a relegation playoff. Can't see that either of these two will finish outside the top two, to be honest. As Foden lays it back inside his own penalty area. Colwell, the Stones, and Foden out towards Alexander-Arnold. Foden with a little step over, the ball bypassing him and Rice, and now to be brought forward by Jude Bellingham. Bellingham getting it out towards the left-hand side for Anthony Gordon. Gordon running forward towards the edge of the penalty area, checks and works it back for Rico Lewis. Now down towards Rice. Rice to Stones. Saka on the England right-hand side is played in. He'll come off the right-hand touchline and work it back with his left foot for John Stones again. Stones to Colwell. Colwell getting it forward. Well intercepted in the heart of the midfield by Siopsis. And Greece will be able to get it past Trent Alexander-Arnold pretty quickly. And when they break, they do so with speed and alacrity. And Solis has got it now. Checking back onto his right foot. He's got Giannoulis making a run on the overlap. He's pulled it back and he's cleared just about with a shot that came in through the 6-yard box. And it seems to have hit the back leg of Colwell with Pickford beaten. Might even have been Stones that got the touch, and it took the goalkeeper out of the picture. It went wide of the far post, and England mop up and get it away. Defensively, there have been some pretty inauspicious moments for England in the opening 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've seen that with England. On the counter-attack, we looked okay going forward, and then on the counter-attack, looked very, very dubious. If players are left one for one. Alternatively, when the Greeks do attack, they do attack with good pace.
Foden for Lewis. Now out towards Gordon. Bellingham making a run for him. It's a really good ball to find him. Left-hand side of the penalty area. He needs support. He's checked back, pulled it back. And Palmer should have scored, but blazes over the bar. England's best chance. Great move forward down the left-hand side. Bellingham drawing the defenders out of position. So much time and space for Palmer coming onto it. And he fires it over the bar.
I'm not sure he'll get an easier chance in an England shirt, to be honest with you. He'll be really disappointed with that. Great play, Gordon, brilliant ball, great run from Bellingham, stretching the back line, and then he's pulled it back to probably about 7 yards out from goal on his favoured left foot, and it just took a little bobble in front of him, and he skied it. Sorry, Jim, both defences proving that they can't defend at this moment in time.
Yeah, this has the feeling of being one of those games that might not be 0-0 for too long. Finland against Ireland isn't anymore. The deadlock broken in Helsinki and the Finns lead 1-0. Ireland still looking for the first point in this group if he stays that way, and relegation would clearly be a very definite possibility. Greece have it down by the corner flag, and it's well defended by Gordon. It goes out of play for an England throw over on the far touchline. Lee Carr's in the 9th England manager to win his first 2 games. There have been 5 who've won their first 3. On to Winterbottom. Glenn Hoddle, Sven-Göran Eriksson, Steve McLaren amongst those.
Suggestions he might have to win his first 6 maybe to get this job on a full-time basis potentially, Jim.
Well, nobody's ever done that, and so it would be the best start to an England managerial career in history. Sven won 5 and then lost to the Netherlands in game number 6. It is at the moment the best start we've ever seen. Greece had possession inside their own penalty area with Vlachodimos, and then as soon as Phil Foden came into the eye line, Vlachodimos panicked and he just chipped it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right-hand side. Taken quickly by Saka. In towards Cole Palmer, who was a slightly interesting choice for England's player of the season for 2023-24, having only started 2 of England's 17 internationals within the season and only played in 20% of the minutes of England's games over the course of the campaign. But it was he that was voted to the accolade as Gordon brings the ball forward now. Lewis laying it back for Declan Rice. Rice to the aforementioned Palmer, who did of course score in the final of the Euros. Colwell back to Declan Rice again. Rice is right on halfway as he just plays it forward towards Palmer. Rides the first challenge, done well. Got away from Siopsis. Lewis making his way forward now. Good challenge comes in on him from Kubelis to clear. And then Greece try and get it forward very quickly towards halfway. It's a slightly awkward one for Colwell, but he was able to turn and bobble the ball back for Pickford. And he will be able to clear for England and get it back out of the danger zone again. Maybe not for long, because Greece winning the seconds in the midfield, firing quickly down towards Solis. Solis chipping it forward. Saka has covered a lot of ground to be able to come back and clear. Breaks for Bakasetas, the captain, whose long-range effort is easily blocked. And then Bellingham, who is first to the rebound, is fouled. Just ball that from Kubelis, and it's a free kick to England inside their own half. We played 25 minutes here on Talksport. Still somehow 0-0.
Well, it's incredible. We've had so much goal malfaction at both ends that it's incredible that it's still 0-0. With England, if the ball gets turned over and the Greeks break quickly, because of the personnel and because of how we're spread, we're very, very vulnerable. But it looks as though both teams will end up scoring tonight. It's just who scores the most.
Rice. Bellingham. Here's Gordon again, bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. Try to bulldoze his way through. Bellingham a little bit unfortunate there in front of the Greek fans. He just committed himself to blocking a clearance from Rota and just slid it straight out of play himself. A goal kick that Vlachodimos is going to take. Well, their defensive record is pretty tidy. They've only conceded 5 in their last 11 internationals, and when you consider that they have within that run played against the likes of Germany, it shows you how tidy they are. But they've been able to expose them after a fashion tonight with the high press. Certainly a more intense press from England tonight than we've seen in the previous 2 games under Lee Carsley. Greece get it forward now. Trent Alexander-Arnold has just seen Pavlidis drop in behind him and get a right-footed shot in. That one is blocked. Saka should be able to bring it away. Pavlidis had his arms around him. A lot's made of Trent's defensive positioning. The role that he's got in this team is so much responsibility for him to push forward, but is there a danger against sides who counter quickly that Trent can just be caught out positioning?
Oh, 100%. And I think we've been found out already in this game. Even in these early stages of the game, we've been found out by balls that have been played through, and it's left us 2-on-2, 3-on-3, Jim, that we've had a big problem.
England now trying to break quickly. The ball fell to Saka. Trent was past him in the blink of an eye. Greece are going to be able to clear, and as they get it back into England territory, Trent again is 20 yards inside the Greek half. Just to reiterate the point that you're making,
Jim, it's not just Trent's in the opposition's half, but we also had 4 attack-minded players there as well. You can't play like that. It's impossible to play like that when you're out of possession.
England get it forward now. First paper aeroplane comes down onto the pitch, which is not a reflection of the entertainment value of the game. This has been excellent. Saka, corner of the box. Back for Palmer, who's missed a glorious opportunity for England. Rice now to Cole Palmer again. Palmer almost able to thread it through for Saka's run. Greece hammered away with Giannoulis. And Lewis is going to be able to bring it down on halfway, and the Manchester City man will get it forward again. Lewis, who started against Finland at left back, keeping his place in the team today for just his 3rd cap. Gordon's got it again now inside the penalty area, trying to get round the outside, wins a corner as his cross is blocked by Mavropanos.
Yeah, we've almost got to change our tact, I think, as commentators, and say, well, let's not pick on England's deficiencies when we get counter-attacked. We put so many attack-minded players on the pitch that probably don't see it as their job of running back at sprint speed and getting goal side, that you're naturally going to cede opportunities on your own goal.
I suppose that begs the question whether England in this formation are prolific enough to be able to justify the spaces that are left defensively. England yet to find a way through. Conceded one yet either. 0-0. Another England corner which will be taken on the left, and it's swung in very deep. Stones going up for it. Mavropanos with the first touch inside the box, gets it away, and then the referee immediately stops play because one of the Greek players is down holding his head, and it's going to be a free kick after he's been treated away to our right-hand side. Well, we're just about half an hour in, and it has been fascinating, this experiment.
It's certainly been that. Some really good interactions by England going forward. I think when they press dynamically, that's when the Greeks look as though they're going to give something away, spread out, and looks as though it's a decent opportunity to score goals. We've played through them once or twice, but the worrying signs is they've probably had more efforts in and around our goal than we have. So, and that is a general problem to us.
That Israel-France game's been excellent as well. Israel have equalised at home to France, only for the French to retake the lead through Christopher and Nkunku as the cross comes in from the England right, and Gordon races onto it, a long distance but free header, about 15 yards from goal, but he couldn't keep it down, and it sails over the top right-hand corner. He's had his chances.
Yeah, and once again it's come from a turnover of possession. The Greeks not particularly good at playing out from the back. The goalkeeper's woeful with his feet, and that is going to be the turnover that gets England the goal if they're good enough to finish. And on that occasion, what a brilliant ball by Trent. I'm looking and thinking, shove it into Foden's feet. He's missed him out, gone straight to Gordon. Gordon's got a great opportunity to open the scoreline.
Incidentally, I enjoyed your little cameo on breakfast this morning with Alan Brazil. Fair to say that he wasn't a fan of the ferocious dog band?
No, he certainly wasn't, which surprised me a little bit. I fully expected him to be all over them.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Apparently he's not the only one either. But as Lewis brings it forward, gets it over halfway here, to Morris, Natalie Sawyer and Dean Saunders, bringing you Talksport Breakfast from 6 a.m. Fancy something different on your morning commute? Check out the Chris Evans Breakfast Show from 6:30 on Virgin Radio on DAB, or download the app. England get it inside the Greek penalty area again just for a moment. They'll get it forward towards Rice. It's cleared via Siopsis. Down over the halfway line to Solis. Crossfield ball, an excellent one from Bakasetas. Masouras is able to make his way towards the edge of the penalty area. They had three inside the box there, Greece, but none of them were found. Then a long-range effort comes in that Pavlidis, the centre forward, tries to block and bring under control, but he's done so in an offside position. But there have been plenty of illustrations in this first 45 minutes of England losing their shape defensively, and Greece having a puncher's chance of being able to get themselves ahead. Probably more than a puncher's chance, I've got to say. There's too many England players facing their own goal, looking back and seeing who's defending. Alexander-Arnold. Out for the cross from here. Knocked away. Get a second bite of the cherry. Down on this near touchline, which is England's right. Stones. His 82nd cap, but leaving the side for the first time. Back from him to Rice, to Colwell. Jude Bellingham finds Rico Lewis. He's back through the midfield for Rice. Italy 2, Belgium 0. Matteo Retegui has scored the second goal for the Italians there, who are in control of that group. Here's Cole Palmer. Palmer just lending it to Bellingham around the edge of the penalty area. Bellingham trying to just ghost his way through, finds Saka. Nice shape on a left-footed cross, but it's easily blocked, and the retreating Pavlidis has done well to come back and find Solis. Solis finds the left-back Giannoulis, and he will clear. Gets it towards halfway, but Colwell is there under no pressure. And England can build again. It's still 0-0. Greece having one cleared off the line. They've had the ball in the net, disallowed rightly for an offside against Mavropanos. Palmer is at England's best chance. Has the ball now. Play to his right-hand side for Trent. Jude Bellingham to Palmer. For Bellingham again. Now towards Declan Rice and back for Palmer. Taking it on his left foot. Then quick pirouette. Alexander-Arnold trying to flick it through the midfield. That didn't come off. Solis can bring it away. Solis for Pavlidis. Bakasetas getting it back from Siopsis. And now will be played deeper into the midfield for Koubelis. Talked about Jude Bellingham playing in this role, but how has he played the role? Has he done it effectively enough for the positions and the runs that he makes, the right runs? I don't think he's played it as an out-and-out sort of deep line number 9. I think he's almost been a number 10 alongside Foden in the main, you know. On the one occasion he did burst in behind from that ball from Gordon. He got in and set up the Palmer opportunity, which was very good. But as I say, we're very fluid in what we're doing, but the trouble is when we do lose possession, Jim, we've looked very, very vulnerable. Giannoulis heading the ball away, and Alexander-Arnold will help it on. And Giannoulis getting it back, just back-heeling it down towards the touchline, and just inexplicably ran out of room. He has been given the throw, which will be taken right in front of his coach, Ivan Jovanovic, who also is new to the job, the Serbian who won 4 league titles in Cyprus. Also coach Panathinaikos. He took over in the summer. That's Poyet leaving after Greece failed to qualify for the Euros by failing to beat Georgia in the playoff final. They lost that on penalties after a 0-0 draw where they had all the play and just couldn't find a way through. Here's Giannoulis. That time he has missed control. It's gone out of play for an England throw right in front of the technical areas, taken from the wrong place by Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's got away with it. Ball worked back towards Palmer. Palmer to Stones, to Colwell. And now towards Foden. Foden to Rice. Greece trying to apply the pressure. And it is 3 against 3 in kind of area where England have it now with Stones. If they get this wrong against a Greek press that's not as intense as England's, then it could be very costly. We've already had the one warning shot across the bows about 10 minutes in. Stones could bring it forward here, though. And with Alexander-Arnold making a run to the right-hand side, he's been able to find it. Now Trent over the edge of the penalty area. Saka ahead of him, just clipped up towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but headed away. And Greece should be able to clear it effectively over on the far touchline with Bakasetas. Now Masouras, he's given it away, and Rico Lewis can poke it forward again. Foden's got it, back from Foden to Cole Palmer, wearing 20. Worked forward by Rice. Gone now the days when England would wear 1 to 11 for every game that they played here at Wembley. Please get it back for Vlachodimos, who hurriedly just chips it out towards the far touchline. Masouras has done well to make something of that. And the Greek support over on that far touchline thought they should have had a free kick. They had a very good view of it, but the Italian referee wasn't having it. And England rescue possession deep inside their own half, and they will be able to build it forward again. With Palmer finding Saka. Saka towards the edge of the box, just laying it back behind square. Palmer chipping it in. Good run forward from Bellingham, but headed away from him. Rice trying to help it back. Now heading towards the edge of the penalty area as well. It bounces a little bit awkwardly for Palmer. Saka's brought it down. And then a good 1-2 between him and Trent. And it opens up for Saka, whose left-footed shot is deflected and goes wide of the near post for an England corner, their third. 0-0.
Yeah, part and parcel of this formation that we've got has got Cole Palmer playing slightly deeper than you would like him, which is fantastic for him getting on the ball, building up play, brilliant. But the downside is we'd like to see him another 10-15 yards further up the pitch, because for me at this moment in time he is the most creative of the England players.
That's where the Pharaohs lead Armenia 1-0, which would be a shock with a small S. Corner to England, 0-0. Saka taking short towards Foden. Saka, now Palmer coming onto it, left-footed. Another good ball swung inside the penalty area and headed away. England turn it back in towards Saka. Saka always wanting from that right flank to tuck it back onto his left foot. Finds Bellingham with his back to the direction of goalie and just tries to lay it back towards Foden. That doesn't quite come off. Greece will be able to play it out. Solis, though, gives it away. And now Walker, I beg your pardon, Trent Alexander-Arnold can bring it forward. Seeing number 2 on an England shirt, you just assume, you know. The ball down towards the dead ball line. Goes back to the corner. And here's Jude Bellingham stretching, maybe fouled. The referee allows play to continue. No, maybe about Foden being fouled. But Bailey's got it, and it's a free kick to England about 4 yards outside the penalty area, right of centre.
Yeah, another good opportunity here. We had a sighter earlier with Palmer. It's in a very, very similar position on this occasion. If I was him, I'd have another dip at this one.
No, I think he might well. So Trent is spotting the ball down with him. Palmer stands hands on hips. Certainly looking the favourite. 27 goals last season for Manchester City and Chelsea. 6 in 9 games for Chelsea so far this season. A couple of international goals as well. What can he do from here? Mavropanos this time only wants 3 in his wall. Alexander-Arnold is the man that's going to take it into a dangerous area. Mavropanos trying to clear it, just came high up in the air, and that allowed Vlachodimos to come out and catch it. He then goes to ground as he tries to knock the ball forward quickly. I think England stopped that happening, and then upfield, Solis also went to ground. There was a collision on him around the edge of the centre circle. But it's the one that the referee saw that is penalised rather than the one that the fourth official will have told him about. So it's a free kick to Greece on the edge of their box. It's 0-0. And England not quite in a position that they're making heavy weather of it, but not having a stack of chances by any stretch of the imagination. 5 to go to the break.
I'll tell you what, the Greeks have done extremely well, especially Mavropanos. They've dealt with balls in the box. They got first contact on headers and done extremely well in balls that have been put in, look very, very dangerous.
In the game that England played here against Finland, they had more crosses in that match than in any previous game over the last 9-10 years. 48 in all. But so far they've been, the ones that have come tonight have been relatively easily gobbled up by Mavropanos and Kouliarakis alongside him. The referee sees another infringement and gives a free kick against the Greek captain Bakasetas on halfway. England take it quickly, roll it into the feet of Foden. Foden on the half-turn goes back for Declan Rice. It's 0-0 on Talksport. Either England the next in action in Helsinki. Sunday tea time, and we'll be there. Talking you through it every step of the way. Saka, back for Stones. Stones getting it forward into the feet of Rice. Rice quickly back for Colwell. To Declan Rice again. To Stones. To Colwell. Now out on the left-hand side is Rico Lewis. Keeping easy possession, but in a non-dangerous area at the moment. Palmer comes deep, gets it. It's a first-time curving ball over the top for Gordon to try and run onto. Get around the back of Rota. Rota back for Mavropanos. Foden is there, putting the pressure on, and Venus just chips it clear. Straight out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the England left-hand side over on the far touchline. About 90 seconds to go to half-time here. A little bit more than that. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Still 0-0.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see on the build-up slightly. We're seeing Trent Alexander go sort of to an inside right position almost in an advanced area, with Palmer going into that midfield slot that we often see Trent do for his club. I'd like to see them exchange a little bit and get Palmer just further up the pitch, Jim.
Greece look to launch another counter. Pavlidis has done really well, chasing a long ball played forward. Heads it down for his captain, Bakasetas. And he goes back inside his own half as England quickly regain their defensive shape back behind the ball. And Greece elect just for a period of more solid possession. Now Pavlidis turning it forward, could be offside. Play goes on anyway. Colwell will get it back for Pickford. Pickford forward towards Lewis. Out of the penalty area safely to find Colwell for England to be able to build down the left-hand side. Goalless approaching half-time here on Talksport. There'll be a couple of minutes to be added at least. Mavropanos mops up and goes back for his goalkeeper. Well, the harem-scarem open nature of the game in the opening 10 minutes has subsided a little since then, but England are on the front foot again now, only for Foden, a little fortuitously, to win a corner because he played the pass and sold Gordon short. But the retreating defender Rota, in his haste to come back and get a touch, was the man that just put it over the line and out for a corner which will be taken on the England left. It's their fourth, and it comes in the 44th minute at 0-0.
All the signs are there that England's goal, if it comes and when it comes, it will come from the Greeks giving us the ball under pressure. It looked a little bit shaky. When they do go from front to back quickly, they make us, they get us at full stretch, to be quite honest with you.
Faroes 1, Armenia 1, and Belgium have one back in Italy through Maxim de Copa. So 2-1 they trail. And Lorenzo Pellegrini's been sent off in that game for the Italians. In comes England's corner, across the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed away, second contact from a Greek player, and the third from Rota. And she's put it straight back behind the line and out for another corner. They'll do it all again.
Mavropanos again getting his head on things, and they've done extremely well in that respect, I've got to say. Cleared a lot of danger in and around the goalkeeper, who's content in not coming for anything.
So Palmer waits on the edge of the penalty area. Saka's in the D. Lewis is 7-8 yards outside the box. Everybody else is forward here for England. 5 to attack this inside the penalty area itself. The option of just rolling it short into the feet of Foden. First of all, the referee's going to have a word with Bellingham and co amongst the jockeying for position inside the box. Now the corner can be taken to work short out of the England left and then back through the midfield towards Lewis. Lewis to Saka and back again. And Lewis now at his left-hand touchline once more. Another opportunity for England to try and work it in. Palmer resists the temptation. Plays it out towards Trent. Unmarked to the far post is Bellingham if they can get it across to him. Gordon trying his luck from distance. That one was easily blocked. Brought down in the midfield by Solis. And Solis plays it forward. There's been a deliberate trip on halfway. Masouras brought down by Saka. And he's rightly yellow carded.
Well, he certainly is. And once again, a giveaway of possession by England on that occasion. And the Greeks are very, very good at looking for that forward pass with a very creative, quick run. And it was Saka there who just had to bring his man down. Otherwise, we had a big, big problem on our hands.
So Saka, the first England player to be booked tonight. Kouliarakis, the Greek centre-half, was cautioned quite early. As we go into one additional minute at the end of this first half. Those in the expensive seats file past us for their liquid refreshment at the break rather than watching the 1 minute of stoppage time. Maybe knew what was coming because Greece took the free kick and worked it 60 yards back to their own goalkeeper. And that's trying to lull England into a false sense of security because they ping it forward route one. Mopped up though by Stones, played forward by Colwell, drilled really at Gordon who couldn't quite control it. Greece working back for Mavropanos. Bellingham comes to put the pressure on him, but that's the half-time whistle. Strange first 45 minutes, and England in many ways will be grateful to be at half-time on level terms after the one that was kicked off the line by Colwell following the mistake by Jordan Pickford. England haven't created an awful lot at the other end. Mavropanos had the ball in the net, rightly disallowed for offside. Palmer missing England's best chance, but at the break, jury's out with this experiment. It's 0-0.
My jury's not out. We're a 3-on-2 for Greece, a 2-on-2 for Greece, and we're making them look really, really good. Let's take a look at the first half, thanks to Carling.
Half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
As the players make their way down the tunnel, a few heads are looking at the ground. They're probably wondering what's going on, a bit like I am. Look, being England manager, it's not a job where you can say, oh, look at all these shiny players, let's just throw them in and it'll be brilliant. Cole Palmer deeper than a submarine at times. That's no good to anyone. We have no defensive midfield mindset at all. Jude Bellingham so good he can play wherever you want him to. No, clearly not. Let's press Greece. Good idea. Ollie Watkins sits on the bench, a relentless presser, a work ethic second to none. He's sitting there watching the game while we try and press Greece, apparently. Neither fullback can come in and cover at centre-back, which we've needed in that first half. And at times, Saka has been playing right-back while Trent does what he wants. Pickford also looking like a liability. Listen, there's chances, Stuart Pearce, that England should have put away. Gordon's free header, Cole Palmer's blaze went over the bar that 99 times out of 100 he slams into the back of the net for Chelsea. But I am baffled and bewildered by that first half. How are you feeling?
It's been a really intriguing game to watch, Aid. I've got to say.
I agree with that, yeah.
I think the Greeks have been very good on the counter-attack when they've gone from back to front very quickly. When they build up slowly, they look an absolute nightmare and look as though they're going to give us the ball. And that's our best way of scoring if we get the press right. But from England's point of view, and this goes back to the statement that everyone kept throwing out, take the handbrake off Gareth Southgate. Well, I think the handbrake's off, and this is the type of performance you got. You've got so many attack-minded players in the front echelons of the team that when the opposition do break on you, a lot of them are facing back at their own goal, and there's too much space for the opposition. I agree with you with Cole Palmer, mentioned that in commentary. I really like him on the build-up back here, which is really good. He gets on the ball, but I also want him further up the pitch because I think he's, at this moment, ability-wise, our most creative player. So whether they change that and push him further up the pitch and get him further up in some guise, whether that be when we've got the build-up, Trent comes in to take his position, then he bumps on another position, who knows. But as I say, it's an intriguing watch, it really is, and it's almost all or nothing football.
It is. It's been a weird watch, intriguing. England may go on and win it, but I think there's things in that first half that cannot be ignored, and it's almost like you mentioned Gareth Southgate and the defensive mindset that he was accused of, and having the handbrake on all the time. We've gone from one extreme to the other, it seems, and for me that didn't work in the first half. Listen, you play a better team than Greece, and they're 2-0 up by now, and for me that was unacceptable. Let's see what happens at half-time. That first half review, all thanks to Carling.
Halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Well, subs warming up. We'll see if there are any changes at half-time. Experimental, I appreciate it was. I'm not sure the experiment after 45 minutes has worked. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Well, I'll reiterate, England have had two really good chances, fluffed them both, but England to win 4-9, Greece to win 17-2, and the draw 23-10. Those were the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Yeah, it's interesting. If Cole Palmer slams that one in, it maybe makes it a different game, and all of a sudden England settle, look comfortable. But it didn't go in, and it's 0-0 at half-time, live on Talksport.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Gambleaware.org.
This is the sound of a car that can fill up anywhere. And this is the sound of an electrified car that you can charge at home. Sounds like the same car, right? Why choose between petrol and a full electric driving experience? Choose the best of both worlds. Toyota CHR plug-in hybrid. Now available at 1.9% APR representative with £2,500 deposit contribution. Visit your nearest Toyota centre to find out more.
Available on PCP over 42 months with finance through Toyota Financial Services by 7th of January 2025. Optional final payment. Indemnities may be required. See website, conditions apply.
You alright, guys?
I need the
kitchen,
the
office, the lounge,
the living room for a meeting,
for my spin class,
for my live stream, for my game.
I need it to watch the footy.
When everyone's caning the broadband, EE's new Wi-Fi 7 router makes every device work better, even yours.
Hello, guys. And need the dough like this.
Turn it up, let's go, team.
New Smart Wi-Fi Pro, exclusively from EE.
43.7% UK availability. Smart Hub Pro and Smart Wi-Fi Pro available with selected EE full fibre plans. Terms apply.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. So we don't just do offers. We do golden offers like this.
Our free-to-play Golden Goals. Predict 6 Premier League scores correctly to win up to £1 million. And it's completely free to play. You hear that? 1 million big ones.
Get ready for the golden era in sports betting. BetMGM. It's showtime.
Predict 6 correct scores to win up to £1 million. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Where can you get the latest breaking sports news delivered with the laser-like accuracy of Michael Van Gerwen? And hear passionate opinions debated with the confident dexterity of Virgil van Dijk.
The Liverpool fans celebrate.
Answer on the radio show that's got the nation's sports fans buzzing like a Van de Graaff generator. Early breakfast with Shabana Hearn. Weekday mornings from 5 on Talk Sport with Adrian Flux Van Insurance. Insurance for the individual. Search Adrian Flux Van Insurance to find out more.
How would you like to win tickets to the British MotoGP? Or a European city break? Or how about a Merlin annual pass? If you're an electrician, you could win one of these amazing prizes and more with BG Electrical. Buy a BG Electrical consumer unit before the 10th of December and you'll get the chance to enter. The more you buy, the more entries you'll get. Visit bgwin.co.uk to find out more. Conditions apply.
The big paint event is now on at Wickes. Save on Dulux standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion was £22, now £15. Shop now. Terms apply.
There are all sorts of fans who make racing what it is. The armchair expert who knows it all, right down to what the horse had for breakfast. The country gents head to toe in tweed, and the ladies with their extravagant hats. The banana-suited stag-do lads, and the nan who just backed the horse because it has a funny name. Whatever kind of racing fan you are, don't miss the Coral Daily Download every Saturday and Sunday morning on Talksport with Coral. We're here for it. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Coverage of the UEFA Nations League live on Talksport with Carling. 18 plus, always drink responsibly. Feel the passion, feel the pride.
What a finish!
The Nations League live on Talksport.
Play 2, 1-2. So far, so good. But tougher tests lie ahead. And victory tonight will be the most significant yet, both in terms of Nations League promotion and Lee Carsley's job prospects. Pickford comes out of his penalty area, and then, he's skidded away, and he's out of his goal, and it's cleared off the line quite magnificently by the retreating Colwell. Mistake by Jordan Pickford. England haven't created an awful lot at the other end. Mavropanos had the ball in the net, rightly disallowed for offside. Palmer missing England's best chance, but at the break, jury's out with this experiment. It's 0-0.
Second half coming up live on Talksport. And remember, the sports bar is open for business this evening. Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy taking your calls. Phone lines are open now. England fans, what he made of that first half. And, of course, Faye Carruthers going to bring you all the interviews from the England camp, including Lee Carsley, straight after the game and into the sports bar. Make a note of that number. Those lines are open now. You can book your call 03717 223344. That's the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara, Jason Cundy, straight up to the final whistle here on Talksport. You listen to Kick-Off on Talksport with Ladbrokes, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Now, there's been a statement from George Baldock's family. It reads as follows: "We are heartbroken with the sudden passing of our beloved George. We can confirm that a post-mortem examination has found that George tragically drowned while swimming in the pool at his home in Athens. George, you were the most special father, fiancé, son, brother, uncle, friend, teammate and person. Your enthusiasm and infectious personality brought so much love to those that were fortunate enough to know you and those that adored you from the stands. We will forever cherish the special memories we have of you, and you'll continue to live on in your beautiful son. You were due to fly home today for us to celebrate his first birthday together, but instead we mourn your loss. As a family, it's been incredibly touching, but equally so very difficult to read the huge number of tributes written by those that knew George and from those whose life he touched. It was impossible not to love him. We ask that you please continue to respect our privacy at this devastating time as we begin to process our grief." Now, I'll repeat what I said earlier. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This is Talksport live at Wembley. Live football coming thick and fast as well. Tomorrow, Iceland against Wales. Commentary on Talksport 2 from 7. Saturday, what a game in the WSL at lunchtime on Talksport. Arsenal take on Chelsea. Gunners having a shocker. 5 points from 3 games so far. Took a 5-2 beating away to Bayern in the Champions League midweek as well. Chelsea go top with a win. Join Hugh Wozencroft from 1. Commentary of that on Talksport. Saturday, we've also got some EFL commentaries for you as well. League 2, Chesterfield against Notts County at lunchtime on Talksport 2. And in League 1, Steve Evans takes his Rotherham side back to his old club Peterborough for a 3 o'clock kick-off, also on Talksport 2, and followed on Talksport 2 by Croatia, Scotland commentary in the Nations League. Listen, I don't want to be too negative, Stuart Pearce, on that first half for England. In commentary, Jim Proudfoot said it was a magnificent clearance off the line from Levi Colwill, and it absolutely was in every way, wasn't it?
Without a doubt. I mean, the mistake was horrific by Pickford. But a defender's job is to get behind your goalkeeper. The ball, for all intents and purposes, after it skidded off the surface, you thought that's it. It's going to nestle in the back of the net. Colwill's recovery, brilliant. He's just managed to get his toes around the ball and pull it out from literally on the goal line. Fantastic defensive work.
I do feel that if we are going to play a pressing game, if we're going to go with that and do it properly, Ollie Watkins needs to be on. We'll see if that happens. But also, I said no defensive mindset in midfield. A Mainu or a Gomez, do they need to be alongside Declan Rice in that midfield? And if so, who gets sacrificed?
Well, that is the question in many ways. It certainly won't be Palmer who gets sacrificed. But what I would say, he started off with, as you said, an experiment. I think we've got to stick with that and see how it goes. He's learnt a little bit in his first 45 minutes. It's learnt that we are very vulnerable defensively and to the counter-attack playing this way. But I think it's worth seeing out. I don't think he'll make any changes at this stage, and certainly not as he didn't in the last 2 games till about the 70-minute mark, and then maybe have a look at 1 or 2. But at present, Palmer is the most creative one, either in a deep line or a more advanced area. I wouldn't be bringing him. I don't think I would be bringing a defence-minded midfield player on. It might solve the issue for the second half slightly, but he wants to learn about whether this front 5, if you like, the famous 5, can play together and hurt the opposition enough that we don't worry about what's going on behind.
Even though we haven't played particularly well at the Euros in a lot of the games, England did get to a final. So we're now in a position a couple of months later, having got to a final, regardless of how we played, we got to another final. And now we're thinking about experiments in the B group of the Nations League at home to Greece. I mean, I mentioned going from one extreme to the other. I'm not saying it's wrong from Lee Carsley to do that. We have got some fantastic attacking players, but it just feels like it's a bit too much, doesn't it? To go from a final to this. I mean, it's not like we had to rip it all up and start again. Surely it was just a couple of tweaks rather than a complete experimental change.
When in a lot of people's eyes, it was rip it up and start again. They think that was it. I mean, I've always been a champion of what Gareth's done for the national team. I think they played extremely well and whatever. The bottom line is, it's an embarrassment of riches almost. You know, the players that he's playing in the front 5 positions are on outstanding form for their clubs, and there's a clamour to get them all in the team, you know, which is brilliant. But somewhere down the line, when push comes to shove, and I don't think that's tonight against Greece, when push comes to shove in maybe a year and a half's time, you're going to have to sacrifice 1, 2 or 3 of your bigger names to make sure the team performance and getting over the line is more important than tickling a few egos of everybody.
Yeah, at the World Cup in 2026 in USA, Mexico and Canada, you may well have to, against bigger, better opposition than Greece, you'll have to pick a side accordingly, and egos may well get dented. It's all right putting them in now in the Nations League game against Greece.
I think England I'm not old enough to remember it, by the way, before you say anything,
sure.
But I think England had to do that in 1966.
I was just going to mention leaving Greaves out, yeah.
Yeah, they had to pick a team that was going to get them over the line and get their hands on a trophy, rather than pick all the players that everyone wanted at the time. And maybe there's a message in history for us somewhere down the line.
Yeah, as I said before, 4-4-2, good enough for Ramsey in 66. Should be good enough for us now, but so far it isn't. Experimental England 0, Greece 0, second half, live from Wembley here on Talksport with Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
Well, it isn't an orthodox 4-4-2 by any stretch of the imagination, but the last time that England played 4-4-2 was a game against Ireland back in May 2013. 145 internationals since then, without going back to the tried and tested formation. It'll be interesting to see if there are any slight modifications to it over the next 45 here. No changes in personnel, despite Conor Gallagher warming up quite extensively and strenuously over the half-time interval. So he might be the first cab off the rank, but no changes yet. We're back underway. Greece in all blue, kicking from left to right. 0-0 the half-time score. And England with the first free kick of the second half for a Greek offside against Pavlidis. And this is a game where it's almost impossible to predict how it might pan out. On the strength of what we saw in the first 45 minutes, you can make a case for just about anything happening over the next 45. Rico Lewis plays it back for Colwell. And Colwell will turn it back to Jordan Pickford. In front of him, Alexander-Arnold, Stones, Colwell and Lewis. Rice and Palmer. Saka and Gordon wide, and Foden and Bellingham both dropping off in the kind of split false nines into deeper positions. England working forward now for Saka. Saka with a run at Giannoulis. I'll give you the Greek team in a moment. Saka coming in onto his left foot. It's a good ball for Alexander-Arnold with a little quaint and cute little back heel flick, but it didn't quite come off for Foden. He's then won it back as Greece were guilty of ball watching. Only about 6 or 7 yards from their own dead ballos. Good play by Trent to turn possession over. England forced to play the way that they're facing, go back for Rico Lewis. Foden in a deeper role has it now. Back from him to Palmer to Stones, and Colwell, the deepest of England's outfield players, will work it forward now towards halfway. Greece lining up Vlachodimos in goal, Rota, Mavropanos, Kouliarakis and Giannoulis. Kourbelis and Siopsis in midfield, Masouras, Bakasetas and Solis, and Pavlidis. Here's Jude Bellingham on the edge of the penalty area, trying to get away from Kourbelis. He can't. Siopsis can bring it clear. Just pokes it forward. He had a little bit of time to think about it in the midfield. Chopping it back onto his right foot. Solis has lost possession. And England regain it. Foden and Palmer between them, just able to play a little 1-2. Thwart a counter-attack. Now Alexander-Arnold goes back out towards Saka. 2 minutes gone in the second half, still 0-0. Good ball down the right-hand side of the penalty area. And Saka has cleared it into Giannoulis, then back into his own chin. And out of play for a goal kick. By time with the early thoughts of the second half from Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, super ball on that occasion once again from Palmer. Palmer looks to me as he's a standout player within the ranks at the moment. And we were just speaking off air, Jim, about the importance. Sometimes it's the players who don't play and you realise the importance when they're not in the lineup. I don't think our two central defenders have done particularly bad, but I think we've missed Gahey on the counter-attack. I really do. His little bit of pace, he gets tight to people, which he's demonstrated since he's been in the side, really.
It's Colwell that's replaced him tonight, or that has taken his place, replacing the injured Ezri Konsa. Gahey sits on the bench for now. The England subs, along with Gahey, are Walker and Gallagher, Livramento, Jones, Watkins, Gomez, Solanke and Madueke. It's Masouras trying to drive his way past down the right-hand touchline. He's taking a touch of Colwell and goes out of play for a throw. Another point that's worth making is the fact that England are leaving themselves prone to these counter-attacks isn't necessarily the fault of not playing with an orthodox number 9. It's more the fact that England aren't playing with an orthodox number 6 alongside Declan Rice. As a shot comes in from distance, and that is easily blocked. A decent effort from Rota. Cleared out as far as Kouliarakis. Kouliarakis continues his run forward. Van de Ven style, and that is fired in! Pavlidis gives Greece the lead. Kouliarakis making his way forward. England couldn't deal with it. It fell for Pavlidis. There were 6 white shirts around him, but he still managed to dig it out from underneath his right foot and fire it into the bottom right-hand corner. England 0, Greece 1, and this is looking ominous.
Well, I've got to say, Jim, there was some pathetic defending in there. The ball was in and around our box, players dangling a leg or not wanting to make a challenge at all. And it's far too easy to get the head up and get a shot away. And a great drive, goalkeeper no chance into the far corner. And it's time for England to look at themselves and say, right, how are we going to respond to this? And the response at the moment is Saka lying on the floor.
Noni Madueke is going to be coming on to replace, presumably, Saka straight away. A goal from Pavlidis, his first in 15 internationals since he netted against Cyprus back in 2022. And the Greek players, now with Saka down receiving treatment, walk over to this near touchline, and they have picked up a shirt with George Baldock's name and number. And that is being raised to the heavens. So the Greek support over on the far touchline. The big banners in, the away fans as well, celebrating the life of George. And they stand and applaud. A real emotional moment, that, for a man who won 12 caps for his adopted country. And Greece lead by a goal to 0 against an England side they have never beaten. Having conceded the goal, England now are going to have to make a change. I don't know whether that's a groin problem potentially for Saka. He's making his way off. And Noni Madueke is going to come on to replace him for just his second international appearance. He got 25 minutes against Finland. He's going to get 40-odd tonight. And Madueke for Saka. 5 minutes into the second half, with England trailing, having conceded under Lee Carsley for the first time.
Yeah, and as I say, the defensive frailties come home to roost there all too early in this second half, and England just dangling feet in and around the penalty box, and it just wasn't enough to keep the ball out. And I've got to say, this linesman over here is just keeping up with play non-existently. I know he's not got the same pace as the likes of Bellingham, but certainly not keeping up with play in any way, shape or form. Luckily for England on that occasion.
Giorgio Peretti is running the line over on the far touchline. If you'd like me to name and shame him, if you don't want me to, I won't. This is the first quarter of the second half, goes England's way. It'll be taken over on the right, won by Madueke. Good first contribution from him. So England have got 3 on the edge of the penalty area. Rice is at 10 yards from goal. They've got Gordon and Foden inside the 6. There's an in-swinging delivery, easily headed away, very emphatically headed away by Solis. And England are forced to go all the way back towards Jordan Pickford. So this is now a real test, not just of the formation of the players, but also of their resolve as well. And England last season conceded first more often than they scored first, which is the most alarming statistic. And in those 10 games that they went 1-0 down, they did come back to win 3 of them and drew 4 of the other 7. But they weren't cut out here, trailing 1-0, and there's a poor touch from Palmer that sells Rice short. And in stopping a counter-attack in its infancy, Rice has picked up a yellow card. England all over the place at the start of this second half.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And as I say, it's very lacklustre at the moment. And what you've got to do, you've got to have a steely resolve at this stage. And it's almost as though we're not sure what way to go forward at present. And that's where you need that leadership within the group that we spoke about beforehand. It's all very well having nice cups of tea afterwards and at St George's Park, but this is the sharp end of leadership.
So Bakasetas will take this free kick. He's a left-footed in, swinging towards the far post. He's headed down and flicked away before Jordan Pickford could come out and get there. England concede a corner. Pickford almost found himself in no man's land again there as the header across the edge of the 6-yard box. I don't know that he would have got to him before Mavropanos was cleared out of play for Greece's second corner. 9 previous meetings between these two nations. England have won 7 and drawn the other 2, but they trail in this one. Another left-footed away swinger. It's headed away by John Stones. Back out towards the far side. Pickford almost beaten at his near post from a low-driven cross-come shot, and he kicked it away. And it goes out towards the far touchline where England are going to be able to just get their foot on the ball, and Rico Lewis will work it back for Pickford again. Pickford under pressure from the goal scorer Pavlidis. England can play out via Rico Lewis through the midfield towards Foden. Foden back towards Lewis again. Lewis then turns into trouble. He's fouled actually by Masouras. And the free kick will be taken over on the far side. England 0, Greece 1. Greece's only positive results, draws at the Old Wembley in 1983, also at Old Trafford in 2001 in that famous game where David Beckham did his stuff in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. England twice trailed that day and ended up drawing 2-2. 2-2 here will not be regarded as an effective result. Foden plays the ball back towards Rice. Foden's got it again. Foden clipping it down to the left-hand touchline for Gordon. Back in towards Foden, but easily cleared. Matsouras now just gets away from Gordon's challenge. He just waved out a left foot and was easily beaten. Rice comes back trying to stop the counter-attack from Siopsis. He's done well to get back on his feet and maintain possession. Colwell comes to help out. Then Foden and Gordon be able to bring it forward. And Greece will do well with Rota to get there ahead of Gordon and work it back. Defensively, we talked about how impressive they've been. It's well over 5 hours now since Greece last conceded a goal. For England, it's just 6 minutes since they last conceded a goal. This is going to be tough for England to be able to turn this around and get the win that everybody was anticipating. Even at half-time, I think a lot of people felt that England still were not to be able to get the job done. It's not panning out like that at all. Here's Madueke. Takes it down towards the byline. Checks back from the corner flag. And has done well to find Palmer. Palmer to Foden. Opened up for him for a moment. To his left-hand side for Rico Lewis. Lewis working it back for Cole Palmer. Palmer, Foden, Lewis. Manchester City past and present linking up, but couldn't get themselves into a shooting position. Colwell drives it forward, flicked up the head of Bellingham, back out towards Noni Madueke. The angle's tight, left-footed effort, spins away by a deflection. Gordon will chase after it, could have let it go out of play for a corner, elects to play it. England trailing 1-0. Gordon on the left-hand side of the penalty area, back for Rico Lewis. Referee takes evasive action as Lewis's ball is played down towards Rice. Alexander-Arnold on the England right. Back for Declan Rice again. Rice getting it forward. Noni Madueke's got it now. Bellingham drops off. Offers himself as a passing option and receives the ball from Madueke. Madueke gets it back. Back towards Bellingham again. Greece have got everybody either in or around the edge of their own penalty area, and England finding it so tough to be able to break them down and get themselves into shooting positions. Lewis, a little bit too much on a well-intentioned reverse ball for Palmer. Goes out of play for a goal kick. And England trail by a goal to nil with 12 minutes gone in the second half.
I think we're playing the symptoms of probably having too many attack-minded players on the pitch that are not prepared to really work and graft hard at the stuff that doesn't come naturally to them. And certainly the goal we conceded was a point in case on that. And it looks as though we've got a bit of movement on the bench, Jim.
And Ollie Watkins is the player that is going to be coming on. So the false 9 experiment looks as though it's going to be abandoned before the hour mark. It'll be very interesting to see who makes way, whether they take Gordon off and move Foden to the left, whether Foden or Bellingham are replaced. I don't think it'll be Palmer that comes off. Similarly, you can't see it being Rice. Madueke's only just come on. So Gordon may well be the full guy. What do you reckon?
For me, I would try and get Palmer more advanced, and to do that, if you're going to bring Watkins on, I think Bellingham would be my choice of bringing off from what I've seen. But listen, you're under pressure as the England manager. He's the one in the technical area at this moment in time. The easy substitution would be Gordon. That would be the easy one, but I'm not sure it would be the right one.
Austria 2, Kazakhstan now, in fact 3-0 now. Marcel Sabitzer just added a third, and Ireland have equalised at Finland through Liam Scales in the other game in this group. England looking for an equaliser themselves. The results stay as they are. Greece well in control. Now they've got it forward for Pavlidis, and no flag up against him despite Colwell's protestations. Back from Matsouras, and it's 2. Now the flag comes up. And it did look as though he was offside. The ball's initially played forward towards Pavlidis. England's hearts in their mouths again for a moment there. The ball in the net. It's the third time that Greece have had the ball in the net tonight. 2 of them have been disallowed for offside. And England are going to make a change and bring Watkins on.
Yeah, as I say, it was a mile offside. I don't know why the linesman didn't flag earlier, but the bottom line is he decided not to. The ball still ended up in the back of our net. And as I said, Gordon, I think, was the easy substitution to make, and he is the one making way.
So Gordon off, and Watkins comes on to replace him. He scored against the Dutch in the semi-finals of the Euros, having been on the field for just 10 minutes. He's got half an hour in the final, and he's going to get half an hour today. He scored 27 goals for Villa last season and 4 in 7 Premier League games so far for him this season. Madueke has come out to the left with Gordon having gone off. So England now 4-3-3. Ball in towards Watkins. Watkins firing out towards the far side. It's Madueke on the left, Palmer on the right, Watkins through the middle. Here is Ollie Watkins in the penalty area straight away. And his rising drive only just clears the bar.
Once again, the Greeks really poor in possession. And Palmer straight away fed Watkins. And he really should be getting that on target, to be honest with you.
I wonder whether Vlachodimos has done his hamstring. The play stops, and the referee making a point and showing everybody that he's stopping the watch as he goes across to speak to Odysseus Vlachodimos. I don't know whether the Greeks are they warming up substitute goalkeepers. Vlachodimos immediately pointed over to the bench, pointed to his hamstring and indicated that he felt that he might have to come off here. That gives England a little bit of thinking time, Stuart. They've got half an hour to remedy this. There's still a lot of water to go under the bridge, but boy, do they need to improve. How do they go about it?
Well, firstly, we're wide open on the counter-attack. There's no doubt about that. We almost look as though we've got too many attack-minded players within the team, and the goal was symptomatic of that. Too many players dangling a foot, not wanting to make a real challenge on the ball in and around our box. Now, there's two sides of the game. A, when you've got possession of the ball and how you open teams up. But all that goes out the window if you're not prepared to do the hard miles in defending your own goal as well and concede goals. So we've conceded far too many chances on our goal tonight, whether the fact we've only conceded one. The other side of that is as well, I think Cole Palmer's been, in my eyes, England's most standout player. And when you're making substitutions, for me, I would have still kept Gordon on the pitch. I really would. And you've got to make tough judgment calls, and that might be Bellingham coming off. Now, well, that's how difficult the England job is. You're trying to appease all the best players almost.
Vlachodimos is okay, having been attended to by the Greek medical staff. Play continues. For a player that was worried about his hamstring, he really put his right foot through that in getting the ball upfield quickly. The XG, nothing between the two sides at all. Possession, 63-37 in England's favour. 9 attempts to 8 in England's favour, but only one shot on target from Lee Carsley's men for all the attacking options that he's got on the field. Matsouras crosses one inside the England penalty area that's easily taken by Jordan Pickford. Now, there's a lot of talk under Gareth Southgate of England playing with the handbrake on. But at times tonight they've been playing like a car careering down a hill with no sign of any brakes at all. And defensively they just left big gaps in behind them as Madueke, who's looked lively since coming on, will just turn on the left wing and work it back for Bennett.
This team hasn't got an MOT, you're suggesting, Jim?
Here's Rice getting it out to the right hand side. Good play by Palmer. Has done his man. Can't get a cross in. Take it down towards the dead ball line. Greece doubling up on him. Solis has done well. He'll be able to bring it away. Solis getting it forward into the feet of Bakasetas. England mop up with Cole on halfway. Alexander-Arnold trying to turn into trouble. And very nearly managed it. He pirouetted straight into a Greek player, but just was able to maintain possession. England have got it now. Foden coming out of the penalty area. Back from him to Bellingham. England trail here at Wembley 1-0 to Greece. They're going to be losing to Greece for the first time in their history. The 2004 European champions will feel that they're good value for the advantage that Pavlidis gave them, 15 minutes or so ago. Sports Bar is going to be fascinating tonight. 03717223344. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy giving you the chance to have your say on everything from here at Wembley. Folk others will bring you all the reaction from the tunnel, including, we hope, the first prognosis of Saka's injury and exactly how severe it might be. Rotter will clear his lines for the Greeks. And he goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England left by Rico Lewis, but only after Greece have made a double change, and they're going to be bringing on Zafiris and Pelkas. The first player to come off is Siopsis. He'll be replaced by Pelkas, who plays his club football in Turkey. He had a season on loan at Hull, you might remember, a couple of years ago. A couple of international goals last season, so he comes on. And also coming off the bench, Christos Zafiris of Slavia Prague, who scored in the Prague derby at the weekend. He's just come on for his third international cap. So double change being made by the Greeks. England sloppy in possession from a free kick. No harm done, but it's just symptomatic of the way they're playing in the second half. The ball went behind Stones and Cole now will bring it forward. Tries to get it to Foden between the lines, but he's split the gap between Madueke and Lewis, and it's gone out of play for throw.
When you look at our lineup at the moment, this game's got a 2-0 defeat on it or a 3-1 victory, and you can't really tell which way it's going to go. We've got so many players in advanced positions when we're building up from the back, almost too many, you would say.
Gibraltar leads San Marino by a golden L. Ethan Brito with that. Belgium 2 down against Italy at one stage. It got back to 2-2. Leandro Trossard with the equalising goal. Italy down to 10 men there. And it's a free kick which will be taken here at Wembley by Greece in their right back position. Jude Bellingham just getting involved for a moment and being spoken to by the referee. Calm down, he and Bakasetas. Greece will restart play with Rota almost midway through the second half. England looking for inspiration. Greece looking for possession and getting it quickly out towards Pelkas on the right flank. Ball inside the penalty area from him. Colwell off balance can get it away. Remember, he cleared one right off the line in the first half at 0-0. Another ball goes out towards Giannoulis. Zafiris is hunting, waiting inside the penalty area. They couldn't thread it through to him. England will try and get it away. Foden. And then it looked as though Watkins was just held up inside the centre circle as he tried to make a run past Mavropanos. And he looked to the referee, and the referee Colombo said absolutely not. Play on. Kouliarakis getting it forward for Greece. Between the lines again, they've worked it down towards Solis. Solis for Pavlidis. Pavlidis getting possession back and turning the man who's the Greek hero tonight. England still chasing shadows at the moment. Can't get a touch off the ball. They're inside their own half. Mavropanos to Rota. It's work back in field. Back for the right back again, and then Rota under pressure from Bellingham has won a throw, which he will be in no hurry to take. It was speculated that this might end 0-2 or 3-1. 0-2 is looking the more likely of those two at the moment, because England can't get their foot on the ball and can't get it into attacking positions now to utilise the wealth of attacking talent on the field.
Exactly right there, and at this moment in time the Greeks are the one playing the more cutting football, if you like, out the two teams.
And they got a corner, which has been won by Pelkas. And the corner will be taken on the right flank. I think that the common thought was that Lee Carsley probably needed to win this group pretty handsomely. Maybe with all 6 games ending in victories, he might be seeing his managerial career flashing before his eyes at the moment as the corner comes in and is easily cleared. Madueke helps it further away, comes back out towards the Greek right. Oh, Pickford's come out and just got something on that. Looks second favourite for a moment, then he's helped back in by Giannoulis and deflects away for another corner, which will be taken on the Greek left. They've been the better side since they took the lead.
Yeah, they certainly have. They're the team that's come out in this second half and look very sort of authoritative, if you like. England haven't. They've lost their way slightly, and they just need to get hold of this game and wrestle momentum back before the Greeks get another goal.
England already beaten here by Brazil and Iceland this year. They haven't lost 3 at home in a calendar year since 2007. But it's on the cards here. They're 20 minutes away from it. Another Greece corner from the left in towards the near post, easily headed away by Bellingham. Goes back out towards Giannoulis. Giannoulis playing it forward for Pelkas. Pelkas can't get himself into a position to deliver a cross. Bellingham's going to be able to bring it away. And I heard the yelp of pain from here. It was a very poor challenge on Jude Bellingham as it was brought forward. And that's going to be a yellow card. It was Corbelis that mistimed it, and he's in the book. 70 minutes gone. England 0, Greece 1 here on Talksport. It's a result that would add more pressure to England going to Helsinki on Sunday. A game that kicks off at 5 English time, and you'll hear it here on Talksport. Don't forget all the reaction from the headline makers and Lee Carsley as well, with our correspondent Faker, others immediately after the game here on Talksport tonight, whilst we take your calls and get your reaction on the sports bar on 03717 223344. So don't forget to check out TalkSport's YouTube channel. Loads of new fresh content coming from the boxing world on Talk Boxing. Got a new NFL show each week, and of course all the football content you need to keep you going. That's all on TalkSport's YouTube channel. Another change imminent Dom Solanke is going to be coming on very shortly. England working the ball over the top. Bellingham is onside, sees the goalkeeper off his line, but can't execute the lob. He went high up in the air. Vlachodimos probably would have been able to come back and cover it anyway had it not gone significantly wide. So England will make another change. Foden off, Solanke on. 2 through the middle.
Yeah, as I say, you said it's been a long, long time since you've seen 2 through the middle. We've gone with that now. I wondered whether he would go with almost a 3 at the back and dispense with one of the fullbacks, to be quite honest with you. But it'll be interesting to see how 2 go up. He's obviously thumbing round for a formula that's going to work and get us back in the game.
Mantalos is going to be coming on as well very shortly for Greece, but not just yet. So at the moment, Ivan Jovanovic will be the international manager that will be 3 from 3 at the end of the night, as his Greek side lead here at Wembley by a goal to 0. This has not been a good evening. Rice playing it forward. It's just been a lacklustre performance from England, and not a lot of cohesion defensively. They've been very concerning. Madueke getting it forward. Solanke trying to get involved. It's Pelkas that knocks it away, and then Levi Colwell got involved. The referee had a good view of that challenge with Pavlidis and said there was nothing wrong with it. And then a couple of seconds later there was another challenge inside the centre circle, and England won a free kick out of that one. Greece will make the change. Kourbelis coming off, Mantalos coming on to replace him. And Petros Mantalos, who has only started 1 league game this season at 33, is very much an international veteran. And he will be coming on for the final 15 minutes or so. Quick word about Dom Solanke. Good to see him back. Nearly 7 years since he won his only previous England cap, where he got 15 minutes in a home defeat. It was a game against Brazil back in 2017.
He's had a super time at Bournemouth before this move to Tottenham, and started off the season pretty well for Tottenham as well. So, yeah, you're right in there. Good to see him back, and interesting to see how him and Watkins operate together.
He's actually the second longest wait that an England player has had for a second cap in 100 years. Frank Lampard Sr. went just over 7 years between first and second. Been others that have had longer between appearances. Callahan, the former Liverpool man. It's Madueke. Lewis back for Noni Madueke again towards the edge of the penalty area, and he was stopped from getting any further. It was then cleared by Zafiris all the way through for Pickford. Pickford sweeping up 15 yards inside his own half. England still in desperate need of some inspiration here. You're listening to coverage of England-Greece in the UEFA Nations League on Talksport with Carling. 18 plus, always. Drink responsibly. Madueke trying to go on the outside. Gets his crossing, wins the corner off Rota. 15 minutes to go. Bellingham will come across to take this corner. It's England's 7th of the night, their 2nd of the second half.
Yeah, I hope I'm proved wrong, but the Greeks have dominated the penalty box in regard to first contact defensively, and they've been very, very strong in that respect. I hope I'm proved wrong just now, Jim.
It's Alexander-Arnold actually is going to take this corner for England. And again, 6 inside the penalty area. Will they be able to find something different? Flicked in towards the near post, looking for a flick on which wasn't forthcoming. Then it's headed away, and the counter-attack could be on for Greece just for a moment. It's 4 against 2. I say just for a moment. It's still 4 against 2. A side-footed ball forward. Pickford's got to retreat quickly. It's a big chance to seal it, and they've missed. Solis running onto it, fires it wide. Flag up anyway, actually, against him. Pickford will say that he got his angles absolutely correct, and the decision to come off his line when he did was spot on. But that was another horrible moment, and it just shows that this night could yet get worse. England getting it forward will chase. Ollie Watkins chasing after a lost cause, and then the pressure from Solanke forces Rota to hit an error back pass straight past Vlachodimos and out for a corner.
Yeah, as I say, from once again the Greeks defending their box very well, counter-attacked, and it was a slight offside that managed to put our mind at ease slightly. when the Greek player went through and missed his effort. But as I say, we looked so vulnerable on the counter.
Trent raises his left arm above his head, hits in this corner towards the penalty spot. And no one quite sure where the ball has gone. The retreating substitute Pelkas can try and head it further clear. Comes back outside the penalty area. Solanke's done well to recycle it. Now played out towards the England left-hand side for Alexander-Arnold, who chips it up towards the far post, and nobody gambled. He goes past Colwell and out of play for a goal kick. Now we're in the final 15 at 1-0 to Greece.
Yeah, I think Trent was just trying to open the angle up to get a shooting line. When he found out he couldn't, he just dinked one at the far post, claiming he got a slight nick off a Greek defender. Goal kick given, I'm afraid.
So have there been any positives in this second half for England?
Second half, no. It's been quite difficult to pick. Well, I think we lost our shape and our rhythm, certainly since the goal. And I think moving Palmer out of that central area has not been a good move for me. I think he was the one player consistently who looked as though he could knit things together and build things up. For me, it would have been a case of getting him in a more advanced position.
And now they've squeezed it forward again, Greece. They've got him behind the defensive line, only for a brilliant retreating challenge to win it back. It looked for all the world as though Solis was going to be able to get a right-footed shot in. And Trent covered a lot of ground very quick. He came back, timed his tackle to perfection, and England survived. But on the counter-attack, they're there for the taking all the time. Madueke, Bellingham making a third man run forward through the midfield. Ball laid out towards Watkins, left-hand side of the penalty area. 1-0 to Greece. Rice for Lewis. Now coming in off the right flank, Cole Palmer's got it. Palmer laying it back for Declan Rice again. Rice to Alexander-Arnold, right-footed ball swung inside the penalty area. Tried to backheel the ball in from the edge of the 6-yard box. One of the England players, I think the referee spotted an infringement anyways. A high ball came in. It came down, almost found Watkins. It hit the head of a Greek player who was lying on the deck. And the referees decoded all of that by giving a free kick to Greece inside their own box.
Oh, yeah, I think there was just a nudge by Madueke coming in at the far post that he's managed to pull him up on, but I don't think... no, it's Bellingham actually. Shoved by Bellingham. Real carnage in and around the 6-yard box there.
Greece working it forward again with Rota. A little flick from Pavlidis. Just gone in behind Solis. Rico Lewis can mop up and he will be able to bring it away. Forward some 20, 30 yards really quickly. England making another good run. And towards Ollie Watkins, right-hand side of the box. Solanke's waiting in the middle. Made a run in towards the near post. The cross was delivered deeper than that. Bellingham then coming around the back of Rota. Almost forced the error. He's forced to clear it. The Greek fullback and put it out of play for another England corner. They are beginning to come with a sense of regularity now. Corner that's going to be taken on the England left-hand side by Trent once more. Madueke runs towards him. Trent says, no, I'm not going to go short. Waves him away. So Madueke now feigning disinterest around the edge of the penalty area with his hands on his hips. Greece with everybody back, but with the lead. In comes the corner towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Took a potentially dangerous near post flick. It's cleared and Pelkas will volley it clear from the edge of his own penalty area. Madueke bringing it down. And Trent's got it. No foul. Greece were absolutely adamant that should have been a free kick. Now they've got a throw. It's just very, very scrappy. Every passage of play seems to be harum scarum, no real shape to what England are trying to do going forward. And we're in the final 10 minutes, and England are 10 minutes away from their third home defeat of 2024. They've got so much work to do here. Can they yet salvage something from this? Rice heading it forward. On from Madueke. Clipped over the top. Lewis should be able to mop up. He can on the edge of his own penalty area. A little bit further out than that. Plays it through the midfield towards Alexander-Arnold. Fired from him out to the right-hand side for Cole Palmer. Palmer just pulled back, wins the free kick. Stu?
Yeah, I've got to agree. The shape of the team's a little bit disjointed, out of possession. We almost look as though we've got too many players that just want to play in possession and not out of possession. And a little bit disappointed with both fullbacks as well, the defensive work. So too many players that are not prepared to do the hard yards, if you like. But you learn something new all the time, and I think Carls certainly would have learnt by this performance.
I mentioned earlier he was the 9th England manager to win his first 2 games. 2 of the 9 then lost their third. Joe Mercer against Scotland, Glenn Hoddle to Italy, and it could well be Lee Carsley to Greece with 8.5 minutes to go. Austria 4, Kazakhstan 0. Erling Haaland has scored again. Norway leading Slovenia 3-0, still 1-1 in the other game in this group. So it means that as things stand right now, Greece 9 points, England 6. Ireland and Finland a point apiece. Greece take on Ireland on Sunday, whilst England are in Helsinki, live on Talksport with a 5 o'clock kickoff, remember. Rice heading the ball back now towards Jordan Pickford. And still no signs of the inspiration that England need. Pickford bowling it out. Palmer was just guilty of ball watching, waiting for the ball to get to him. Giannoulis made sure that he didn't. He's rolled in towards the near post and tapped in by Pavlidis for a second. And that may well be that. This has been a terrible night for England. Great ball in towards the near post. It might have been Colwell that got the touch to flick it over the line. Pavlidis in there making him play. Either way, it's England 0, Greece 2 with 7 minutes to go. And there's no David Beckham to rescue England against the Greeks tonight. This has been very poor indeed.
Yeah, you're right there. Really poor goal to concede. Pickford's fielded it out to Palmer. Palmer's let the defender just brush him aside and come past him. He's got to do a lot better than that. And he didn't. I don't think it was a horrific throw from the goalkeeper, but when your wide player doesn't show a bit more strength and guys to come across and deal with it, and that might well have been slightly offside looking at that on the replay. But listen, you've got to hand it to the Greeks. Whenever they've had a sight of our goal, Jim, they've gone after us and they've put us under real pressure.
Well, I think it's Colwell that gets the touch. And then, if it had gone through towards Pavlidis, it would have been disallowed, and it has actually been disallowed. If Pavlidis had turned it over the line, flag clearly would have come up. The fact that it took him as long as it did, maybe they were concerned about the position that Pavlidis was in, whether he was interfering. He clearly was, because he made Colwell play it. So that's a let-off for England, and it remains 1-0. Only a temporary let-off mine with 6 minutes to go, and England's still chasing.
Jim, they've had the ball in the back of our net on 4 occasions now, which is very worrying.
3 of them disallowed for offside. That one close. So they've had the ball in the back of the net on 4 occasions, and they've had one where half of the ball has been in the net, was kicked off the line by Colwell. This could have been much worse for England. Greece are going to make another change. Vagianidis is going to be coming on, and so too Konstantelias. Bakasetas, the captain, is going to be making way. So a double change being made. England have still got, in terms of attacking options, nothing. Gomez, Jones, Livramento, Gallagher, Walker, Gahey. Those are the 6 outfield players that could come on for England from this position.
I think at this moment, Jim, it's not about throwing an attack-minded player on. It's about putting someone on that might give the team a little bit of structure, to be honest.
Not necessarily a situation to introduce someone like Curtis Jones for his debut. So Greece will make a double change. 5 to go. This is unravelled for England in the second half. All a learning curve, of course. And England will heed the lessons from this. And they'll hope that they'll be able to heed the lessons and still emerge with a positive result. That is looking unlikely. Bellingham going back for Pickford. Pickford plays it forward towards Colwell. And now Rico Lewis making his way through the midfield, but it's a play from Bellingham back to Colwell again. Colwell in towards Declan Rice. Rice taking a touch on the edge of the centre circle. England 0, Greece 1, 4 to go. Back to Bellingham. Bellingham to Colwell again. But England still inside their own half and still unable really to create any worthwhile chances, because they had that flurry of corners. They've had some decent possession around the edge of the Greek penalty area, but nothing is really giving them decent chances. Ollie Watkins had one when he came on, but they don't have much since. Alexander-Arnold getting it forward here. It just comes out towards Bellingham! 1-1, and there is salvation. Man that's capable of the late spectacular goals drives one in from just outside the box. At this point in time, it merely papers over the cracks, but England are back on level terms. Jude Bellingham.
I've got to say, that was an absolute wonderful finish there. He's opened his body up, he's put his side foot on it as he's run onto it, and he's hit it with so much pace and power. The goalkeeper got a solid left hand to it, but it was a brilliant finish. And England have got the ability and attack-minded players to go on and win this game. There's no doubt about that, they have, but probably they wouldn't deserve to.
Well, Jude Bellingham, he's got a 95th minute equaliser in the game against Slovakia, his last international goal, an 87th minute equaliser tonight. 1-1. Greece will bring it forward. They will be stunned by that, because England have hardly had an opportunity worthy of the name. Greece immediately go upfield, win a corner. England not guaranteed anything yet.
The worrying thing is the Greeks have swept up the other end of the pitch and had another good opportunity that's forced a corner, Jim.
Which comes in now towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Colwell emphatically heads it away. Comes out on the edge of the D for a left-footed shot from Konstantelias, and he's fired it way over the bar. And out of play for a goal kick. Well, irrespective really of what happens from here, you'd have to say this has been a disappointing performance from England, but if you can play in a disappointing manner and win and get a come-from-behind victory, that certainly will be something to be able to grab hold of, and that's what England are trying to do now. Bellingham wins a free kick. It looks as though the ball was kicked away to stop a quick restart. The referee not interested in producing a yellow card for that. It's a free kick that will be taken on the edge of the centre circle. The England debrief with Adrian Durham, Stewart and myself, I'm sure will be fascinating. That will be on the YouTube channel, Talksport's YouTube channel, later tonight. There for you to download or take in on your way to work tomorrow. So much to discuss, to dissect this. Ball played inside the penalty area here, and coming around the back, Madueke on the stretch from a tight angle. They'll only fire it into the side netting. Better set piece from England, but we're in the 90th minute at 1-1.
Yeah, it's probably the element of set plays that have been quite disappointing. You know, the delivery's been okay, but I suppose when you look at our line-up with no physical prowess in the front sort of six, if you like, that we've not got on the end of things in the main.
Now, Vlachodimos had it covered anyway. He'll take the goal kick. We're just about being stoppage time by the time he punts this upfield, which he does now. Fourth official is waiting with the numbers board in his hand, Matteo Marcinaro. How many extra minutes is he going to give England to win this? Lewis heads the ball away. It's 5 additional minutes. Now we're in them now. Lewis is being pulled back there by Pavlidis. And that is a yellow card. So Vangelis Pavlidis, the scorer of the Greek goal, is cautioned. Stones in stoppage time. The England captain controlling the ball. Goes square to his left-hand side for Jordan Pickford. Pickford playing it forward. Colwell can just come forward into Greek territory. And England have got a player who's gone down off the ball. It's Jude Bellingham. He's in no position to attack this as he's fired forward now. And that could have been a corner. The referee looks at it and says it's not a deliberate back pass. The diving Vlachodimos stops it going out of play for a corner. So many England fans filtered out when the what they thought was the second Greek goal went in. There's so many empty red bucket seats here at Wembley. And play continues. Another 3.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. It's 1-1. Colwell can put your calls now for the sports bar. 03717 22 33 44. Pelkas chasing Pickford just there on the edge of the D, and he's followed through. I saw him catch Pelkas, who gets a yellow card, and Pickford may be hurt. No, he's back on his feet.
I'm not sure he's hurt in the first place, Jim, to be quite honest with you.
Making sure the Pelkas got booked.
Indeed.
1-1 the score. England working forward towards Watkins. Watkins getting it out towards Palmer. Watkins continuing his run forward. Greece tries to smuggle it away. Bellingham is in there. Can't stop it going out of play for a throw. 3 minutes of stoppage time to go. England 1, Greece 1 on a night when Greece have had the ball in the England net 4 times. 3 of them disallowed for offside. One of them very close. They've had one kicked off the line. England 2 shots on target. Against a side ranked just inside the top 50 in the world. Pelkas getting it away from the edge of his own penalty area. Constantelias with a touch as well. Goes out towards the far touchline for a throw that England will take. Want to take it quickly. Want to eke as many seconds out of this game as they possibly can here on Talksport. Forward towards Lewis. Lewis bringing the ball back infield, right-footed, too much on the clip run forward, looking for Solanke. Vlachodimos will be able to pick it up on the edge of the 6-yard box and bounce the ball a couple of times, just try and waste as many seconds as he thinks he can, with 2 minutes of stoppage time to go here on Talksport. Now 1-1.
Yeah, it's the Greeks at 1-1 who'll come away from this the happier of the two, without a doubt. They played pretty well tonight, and still might not.
Lewis trying to get it away inside the penalty area, right footed effort, and he's in. And Greece have surely won it right at the end with Pavlidis. They thoroughly deserve it. Real scramble inside the penalty area. England making a mess of getting it clear. It fell for Pavlidis, and he's fired in a stoppage time winner. England 1, Greece 2. There can't be any complaints from Lee Carsley in England. A lacklustre performance, and they've been beaten seemingly by Greece for the first time in their history.
Yeah, the lineup has probably underpinned that performance and underpinned the result in some ways. You know, it was either make or break lineup in many ways. But England, once again, poor defending. It's pinballed around. No one's dealt with the ball in the box. People have been pushed out the way. They've not dealt with it. And it's ended up in the back of the net. Very, very similar to the first goal, really, when no one's took charge of anything. And a good finish. They'll be delighted with that. Delighted with this result, the Greeks.
2 goals for Pavlidis. A way to end his international drought. First goals in 15 games for a man recalled tonight. Only in the side because Ioannidis is injured. So about a minute left. Pickford firing the ball for England. Trying to get it forward towards Watkins. Manwake goes down. Referee says no penalty. Greece clear their lines. England have been known to salvage a positive result against Greece to make it 2-2 deep in stoppage time. But they've got to do it again. Back he goes towards Pickford. Left-footed ball forward, chipped up towards the edge of the penalty area. It's easily knocked away. No chance for Solanke to be able to hold it up. Pavlidis would have been offside. Doesn't chase the ball that is played forward, so it goes through towards Jordan Pickford. The 5 minutes are up, but time will be added on for the celebrations after what surely is going to be Greece's winner. So maybe another 30-40 seconds to go, yeah. Declan Rice locking it back through the midfield towards Palmer. Palmer with a little nutmeg. Rico Lewis comes onto it. Down on the left-hand side is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Right-footed ball found inside the penalty area. Bellingham looking to flick it on. It's cleared easily on the edge of the Greek penalty area. Forward towards Pavlidis. One back by England, but a free kick is given Greece's way. And from here on in, that'll be that, Stu. They're going to get it done.
Yeah, and probably no less than they deserve, Jim. As you rightly say, I think they've been very good tonight. And certainly on the counter-attack, they've been outstanding. The only time they've looked vulnerable is when they've played out themselves from the back and give the ball away in cheap areas. But apart from that, they've won everything. They've had first contact in the box, and that's played a big part in this game.
Well, this free kick to Greece from inside their own half will be just about the last kick of the night. And Lee Carsley paces up and down on the edge of the technical area. A lot for him to consider. So much for him to consider. Nicodemus will take this free kick as the Greek fans that you can hear over on the far touchline. They're euphoric. Absolutely euphoric with what they've seen tonight. A 2-1 victory incoming. England with the throw. Inside their own penalty area. He's back for Jordan Pickford, and that is that. And that, I'm afraid, is Greece frightening. Terrible performance from England, particularly in the second half, where they completely lost their way. And it looked as though Jude Bellingham might have rescued something 3 minutes from time. England still couldn't hang on. And Pavlidis, who scored the first, added a second 4 minutes into stoppage time. And when they look back at this Nations League campaign and decide on the direction of England going forward, it might go against Lee Carsley. It could be that Greece is the word that will cause him some sleepless nights. Tonight, England, with so few positives, have been beaten by 2-1.
Wow, what a mess that was. Lee Carsley strolls onto the pitch, stony-faced, but he's kind of treated it a little bit like some sort of competition, almost like a bit of an X factor. I know, I'll go with this, throw this in, see if this works. Last month was fine, yeah, absolutely. And then you completely messed it up this month, mate. Ireland and Finland 4 weeks ago, they're straightforward. Greece should be as well. They're better, but this is a side that didn't qualify for a 2014 Euros in the summer. Remember that. And Lee Carsley's shambolic lineup has just been beaten 2-1 at Wembley by this Greece side. A couple of the England players go off to applaud the fans, many of whom had left those red seats empty long before the end. There was a moment, seconds before the final whistle, where Trent Alexander-Arnold on the left-hand side, for some reason, had the ball at his feet and literally just ballooned it up in the air across the middle of the pitch, almost like he'd completely given up hope of scoring an equaliser. Seconds later, he had the ball again, crossed it into the box. I have no idea what that first ball was all about, but it struck me that it was an England team that lacked any discipline, that lacked any idea of what they were meant to be doing. Lee Carsley picked a terrible team that was defensively shambolic, started with no strikers, ended with 2 strikers, made Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham and others look bang average, and probably he's coached his way out of any chance of getting the England job on a permanent basis. This was not acceptable tonight. This was so bad tonight from any England side. Imagine the grief a Graham Taylor would have got for that here at Wembley tonight. Imagine the grief Southgate would have got towards the end of his tenure for that tonight. England have picked an interim coach for seemingly 6 games, and it feels to me like it's a complete waste of time. So he had to win all 6, which, yeah, possibly he should do, but doesn't really generally happen. And he's chosen the 3rd game to experiment, and it's looked a complete and utter mess. So where does that leave England now with less than 2 years to go before the next World Cup? Listen, the England debrief is coming up on the Talksport YouTube channel with me, Stuart and Jim. You will not want to miss that. I also will be doing marks out of 10 on the Talksport website. They've already been submitted. That'll be on Talksport.com very, very soon. And the Sports Bar is coming up in around 15 minutes as well. You will need to call Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Can't wait to hear that show after 10. 03717 22 33 44 is the number to call. Stuart Pearce, listen, I love this job. You know I love this job. I'm always proud to be on England duty for the world's biggest sports radio station, Talksport, but Wembley tonight, that out there tonight, Stuart, unacceptably bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. the shape of the team went to pot, certainly in the second half. The Greeks cut through us at will on occasion. I thought defensively we were very poor, but poor because there weren't enough numbers defending, because the shape of the team wasn't correct. We had a situation where we've looked at probably trying to put all the most talented players in the 1 to 11 lineup, and certainly in the advanced area of the team, and it just hasn't worked. And Gareth Southgate probably got a lot of stick over his tenure for not putting that in and playing that extra holding midfield player. I think we might have had a little insight into what happens if you don't have that extra holding midfield player.
Yeah, I mean, there was no defensive mindset in midfield. You had fullbacks who couldn't really cover as centre-backs when three were needed. There was so much wrong, I felt, with the starting lineup that it couldn't possibly work. And listen, you might just say, yeah, it's Nations League, but England got relegated and they need to get promoted again. They also need to get a winning mentality. They also need to find out what their 11 is, what their best 11 is, what their best squad is as well. And that's what this 2 years is about, building up to a World Cup. It's not about throwing players on the pitch and seeing if they can beat Greece, who didn't qualify for the Euros. I'm puzzled why he thought that was a good idea, Lee Carsley, and I'm puzzled about this going forward as well. Because when we look at the table, Greece are top on 9 points, 3 wins out of 3. England played 3, won 2, lost 1. Their goal difference is 3 better than ours, and we've got to go to Greece and win now, and win comfortably as well. We might not even get promoted out of B2. I mean, the whole thing looks like a complete mess tonight that he's got totally wrong. I also think, Stuart, that by bringing Ollie Watkins on after an hour, that was him admitting he got the selection wrong.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes in football. You know, you go out there, you have a plan in your mind, you think, well, you know, at under 21 level I've played with a false 9 and it's worked very well. I thought our most creative player was Palmer, who was playing in a deep lying role. Now, I thought he'd done okay getting on the ball and knitting things together at the back, but part of me wants him to play further up the pitch where he's nearer the goal, because I think he's the one most likely to get us a goal on the form he's on at the moment. And sometimes having so many players that are so talented, and people and the outside noise, you've got to play Foden, you've got to play Bellingham, you've got to play this one, that one, all of a sudden the balance goes out the window a little bit. You know, you need the right balance. That's why it's called a team game, you know, and that's the formula you've got to get right.
Yeah, it looked to me like he didn't pick a team at all. He just threw players on there, asked a few of them to play out of position. Absolutely didn't work. And Jim mentioned in commentary that if you can play badly but still grind out and come back to win a game, then you can take something from it. And I kind of agree with that. I think it would have been a difficult night if we'd somehow snuck a 2-1 win to take a lot of positives from it. We know what not to do next time, I suppose, but we didn't even do that. We got back on level terms. They conceded again. And they had, 3 goals disallowed? And some of them were really marginal. No need for them to be offside for a couple of those.
Well, exactly that. We got in situations where when the ball's hit the back of our net on 3 occasions, we've had one scooped off the line as well. So there's a lot of goalmouth situations which, sadly for England, weren't at the right end for us. It was at the wrong end. And it's the players at this stage you think, well, hang on, maybe we do miss Harry Kane a little bit. I think Mark Gahey was a big miss as well. I was a little bit disappointed with the defensive contribution of our 2 fullbacks as well, I've got to say. And we were too wide open in the middle of the pitch, and the front players, the ones that are put in to win the game for us, probably didn't see the necessity of work hard enough out of possession, and that cost us.
Yeah. Listen, the FA, I kind of wonder. I did say before, Lee Carsley's first game that I thought it was a bit of a strange decision giving him. You either give him the job and say go for it, but don't give him 3 games or 6 games or whatever. I mean, we're still not totally clear that it is 6 games. We're just assuming it's 6 games. Ashley Cole is with Lee Carsley on the staff, giving up his job at Birmingham, so you're thinking he's here for the longer term, at least 6 games. But it felt like a really strange situation. I think after the way Gareth Southgate, you and I were both big fans, and Gareth Southgate has led us to 2 finals, a semi-final and a quarter-final. That's not a bad record in tournament football, however they played. to then say, well, he can have it on an interim basis, let's see how he goes, feels like a really weird one with 2 years to go before a very difficult World Cup.
Yeah, if the right man in their eyes wasn't out there for the FA to go and get, I saw the sensibility in putting Lee in charge. I really did, and I still do for the next 3 games. You find out a little bit more about Lee Carsley. You find out a little bit more about the availability of other managers out there if you want to go outside the FA. And put it this way, I think there was only Graham Potter available that wasn't in work that was probably a serious candidate. Maybe Jurgen Klopp, who was talked about but just come out of a job and wants to have a break from football potentially. But, well, the bottom line is I think it was the right appointment. It bought some time. But when you get beat, all of a sudden, people start turning around and saying, hey, hang on a minute, was it or wasn't it the right appointment?
He led a side to the European Championships. They won that. They were very, very good. I think that you almost, as an organisation, as a potential employer, might lose a little bit of credibility if you've got a manager that does that and you then, with the same set of players, don't give him an opportunity when the manager leaves. So I reckon, and I haven't heard this from anybody within the FA, and I'm putting 2 and 2 together, but I think that Lee Carsley was always really likely to be their first choice in the absence of any other candidates, as Stuart has identified. But would Lee have been a hard sell to England fans as the man to replace Gareth Southgate? Well, it's a lot easier as a sell if he's won 6 out of 6. He's had the best period as an interim manager than anybody has ever had in England history, and England have scored 15, 18 goals and let in very few at the other end, and they've won the Nations League group by a long way. Then I think a lot of the England fans who might have doubted the appointment would now say, well, look at what he's doing. Look at this flamboyant attacking football that England have got, which is different to what we had before. So I think that they put him in feeling that he was going to be very successful over the 6 games, and then it was a fait accompli that he would be the man that England wanted after that. Well, that's all well and good until tonight.
Well, is it? Because the 6 Nations League games should be 6 wins when you look at players on paper, and I know that's not how it works, but you would have expected England to get promoted from the group, okay? And that's when they can say, well, Lee Carsley's led us to 6 wins, here you go, here's the job permanently. I understand that concept, but England aren't about Nations League. Yes, that's the immediate task, but the task ahead at a World Cup is what they should be thinking about. And it's whether you believe that Lee Carsley was that man. 6 Nations League games might lead you to some sort of false hope that, yes, he could do it, but take away the Nations League. Did we really think Lee Carsley was the man that was going to lead us to World Cup success in 2026 in Mexico, USA and Canada? And I asked that question not with any kind of confidence or arrogance that England will win the World Cup, but we are now used to going deep in tournaments. We're not used to losing at home to Greece.
We're used to going deep in tournaments, but we've had a manager who's been criticised heavily, by the way.
Not by you and me.
For playing 2 defensive, so-called defensive shields, if you like, to get deep into tournaments. And everyone was saying, what are we doing? Take the handbrake off, take the handbrake off. I got sick to death of hearing that statement where people didn't even know what it meant. Well, what it meant is probably what you've seen tonight. That's taking the handbrake off. That's the team sheet dropping and saying, we've almost had an arrogance and said, we've got such talented players, you know, that we can go and outscore anybody. It don't matter who they are. Well, I'm telling you what, you can't. International football and football nowadays, you cannot just go out there and put all your most talented players out there. You've got to have a team and a balance and a shape. And probably tonight we didn't.
We talked about matches like this being England's kryptonite in the past. I remember sitting here 4 months ago and England going into the tournament on the back of a home defeat to Iceland, which was such an inauspicious portent for what was to come. And whatever you thought about the performances in the summer, England went from losing at home to Iceland to getting to the final of the Euros. A home defeat to Greece doesn't necessarily mean that England can't go deep in the next World Cup. But I think the bottom line is that when you look at Iceland, you look at Greece, you look at Slovakia in the Euros, what have they all got in common? They have coaches who have the ability to be able to send out teams that are better than the sum of the parts. I can't remember the last time really that we saw an England team that you would say was better than the sum of the parts, because the sum of the individual parts is so immense. It's almost a curse for England that they've got so many talented players in not dissimilar positions that you look at it and think, well, if I do throw them all in here, something is bound to click. I think that we've learnt tonight something is not necessarily bound to click. And you and I have very different views on the starting lineup. I can't rewrite history. I thought it was a good starting lineup tonight, and I still do, but the execution of it just clearly hasn't worked, and the balance in the midfield wasn't right. And so I can't criticise Lee Carsley for that, because I thought he picked a good team. So it's not my place to be able to do that. But you look at the teams that have the ability to be able to beat England, they do it with compact defending, and they do it with a nous that England, for whatever reason at the moment, just haven't got. And whether that's Lee or whether it's somebody else, they've got to unlock that. They've got to find a way to at least make the team performances as good as the sum of the parts. But a lot of nations that we play, it's better. And that's what we've got to catch up with.
But even with the you and I disagreed on the team selection, but that aside, even though I didn't like the team selection, I never expected Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham to be that bad. I don't think Cole Palmer played particularly well and really faded badly second half. He's been brilliant this season, so I'm not really looking at the team selection for that. Is it an England shirt, an England badge, Stuart, that weighs heavy on players?
I think we lost a bit of leadership out on that pitch. There's no doubt about that. I think we fluff around a little bit when we talk about leadership groups and bits and pieces like that, but that's when it really counted, that last hour and a half, and certainly the last 45 minutes of the last hour and a half, and I didn't see enough leadership within the group at that stage. You're right in what you're saying. Too many players didn't play to form. We saw that in the summer as well, by the way. Defensively, I'm not sure you would see too many goals conceded like the two we did, that even on park football, it was so poor. I've just looked at the replays of both of them, and the ball's pinballing around and no one's got a foot on it. No one's dealt with the danger. People have got out of people's way for the first one and let them come through our midfield and get into our box, and by the time you're in the box, anything could happen, and people were standing outside the way. So really disappointing.
Let's get some reaction. Tonight's skipper, John Stones, with Talksport's Faker Others.
John, I know how disappointed you'll be the first time captaining your country with a defeat. It looked like a mess out there. How did you feel as players?
Yeah, it wasn't good. We weren't at the standard that we set ourselves, and that wasn't good enough tonight, and the result reflects that.
What was the reason for it?
I'm not sure. Something didn't click. We didn't create enough chances. Couldn't find the guys in the pockets. Get through play ball through the lines to them. Credit to Greece, they made it really difficult to play through the middle, cut the passing lanes off. We're very aggressive. We knew what we were in for, so it's no excuse. I'm not saying we didn't prepare as well as we do for any other game. We always respect whoever we're playing, and we knew that we were a good team on previous results as well, the top of the table. So it's a difficult one for me personally. Didn't envisage it to go this way. Didn't believe it would have gone this way as well. On the first time, you want to come away with a win, and it's football's like this. It can be cruel at times in some of the sweetest moments, personally, and I think tonight overall it just wasn't good enough.
Do you feel as if the formation was to blame? Because, a lot of the criticism that Gareth Southgate had was that he wasn't able to get all the creative players in on the pitch. We had a plethora of them, every single player that people were calling out for during the Euros, but yet that creativity, as you say, wasn't there.
It's hard to digest straight away. Personally, a lot of riding. I put a lot of pressure on today's game on myself, and we can pick a lot of things, I think, from today's game. We had incredible players out there, and we didn't do the job. I think it can be as simple as that we have to hold our hands up, confront what's just happened, and it wasn't good enough from the standards that we set. Definitely, we didn't create enough chances. Didn't take some chances as well, and we weren't good at the other end on transitions from set pieces. Counter attacks, sustaining the ball and using it as we usually do. You know, it would have been a different story. I hoped it would have been a different story. Me standing here speaking, coming away with a win on top of the group, but it's difficult, especially on behalf of everyone in the England team, the FA, myself. Condolences to George's family. Obviously, a few of the boys were very close to him and found it a tough day, so it would have been a nice touch from us to do it for them and do it for some of the boys in the dressing room to show and
Did it affect things out there? I can see in your face and the tone of your voice that it feels like the whole team have maybe put a bit of pressure on themselves tonight.
I think so. I think it's a team that's not played together in that system before. Players coming in, a lot of factors that maybe we can look at and work on. And we believed that it was the right way forward. I think how the manager's got across how he wants to play and what he wants from us as players, and we believed in what he's wanting from us and how we believe we can win a game. And I think that's a huge thing when we're stepping out onto the pitch. And tonight we didn't deliver what we'd worked on in the week.
Thanks very much for coming and talking to us, John.
Thanks.
There you go, Faye Carruthers, our England correspondent, talking live with the skipper this evening here at Wembley, John Stones. We will get reaction during the sports bar, which is coming up, from Lee Carsley and other members of the England camp as well. Stuart Pearce, what did you make of what John Stones had to say there?
Well, I think he spoke very well. I think it's a time at the moment for the England team, and the one who will be hurting the most will be Lee Carsley, because a fair bit of criticism will probably come his way. He'll learn a lot about himself, there's no doubt about that, but I think the players themselves need to probably have a little look at themselves and say, hey, how can we rectify this? This shouldn't have gone as horribly wrong as it actually did. You know, we've been beaten on our home turf, we've conceded 2 woeful goals, they've had the ball in the back of our net on 3 other occasions, by the way, and oh, for the grace of God that the linesman put his flag up. So yeah, a really disappointing evening.
While Talksport was speaking with the England captain, John Stones, Lee Carsley has done a post-match interview in which he has actually said it was something we tried for 20 minutes yesterday when talking about the system. Now, even if that's true, I'm not sure why you would admit that. And I know England players and England get-togethers, are not long-term things. They've had at least 3 sessions, as far as I'm aware, from what I've been told. But to try it for 20 minutes, then try it in a competitive game, is that not a little bit odd?
Well, I don't know whether the fact of the Harry Kane injury, did we know he was definitely not going to make the game? Whether they were thinking to themselves, well, maybe Harry was going to be fit, available, and then all of a sudden at the last moment he isn't going to be, and you've got to change tact. I spoke with Lee before the game and his staff as well, and a couple of them said to me, wow, this game's come around really quickly. And I think the Thursday games, they actually do, and the trouble is you've got to get used to that and get in the swing of it.
Yeah, that can be the only explanation, that they thought that Harry was going to make it, and then suddenly realised that he wasn't. Maybe they had a look at one of the others playing in the usual formation, and that wasn't going well in training, so they decided that they were going to change. But 20 minutes looking at a completely different formation, the first time you play 4-4-2 in an international for more than 10 years, and you've only looked at it for 20 minutes in training, is concerning. That's just not rational, so there has to be a proper explanation for that.
Well, we'll hear from Lee Carsley during the sports bar, which is up and coming on Talksport. Jim, Stuart, thank you very much. The England debrief coming up on the Talksport YouTube channel with us 3. My marks out of 10 on the Talksport website, talksport.com. They'll be there any second. Sports bar coming up, O'Hara and Cundy, 03717223344. Get it off your chest. We'll be in Helsinki Sunday. Tonight, England will Helsinki. You heard it live on Talksport. England won Greece 2 here at Wembley. What a load of rubbish. England was so bad, the players probably booed themselves off. Absolute garbage.